in there.
Wow, the guy was just finishing something.
Well, he said he was waiting for the rambling to stop for the last 30 minutes or whatever. So I figured maybe I should just cut it now.
Hang on, this guy has had ample opportunity to step in. The first thing he does is try and ad hom us. We're only rambling, as he's calling it, because him and his brethren aren't stepping in. So just shut up with the ad homs and step in, or go away and shut up.
Yeah, you guys got to remember he is kind of skittish. He is a little skittish, so you have to be careful.
To be rude.
And you're up, dude.
Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, I didn't mean to ad hom anyone. I was just trying not to be rude. I'm sorry. So,
well, saying rambling will be kind of ad homing.
I don't think so.
He didn't say that.
What's your name, buddy?
MANUFACTOTUM?
Totem? What's up, Totem? How you doing?
MANUFACTOTUM. Doing all right.
Cool. What you got, buddy?
So if Nathan's around, last time we spoke, he said that measuring from the Earth is measuring the Earth. And I was wondering if he still held to that or if he'd rethought that position at all.
Nathan!
He might be getting coffee. Rephrase your question, please.
Sure. So the common sort of 2024 position, as I've understood it, is that
No. Just don't set it up. Just ask the question.
Do you still agree with that?
You didn't ask the question. Ask the question.
Like, do you agree that blah, blah, blah?
Excuse me.
Do you agree that measuring from the Earth is measuring the Earth?
Could you please produce exactly Nathan's exact words? Because I don't want to have anyone here responding to something that may not be his exact words.
Thank you, Brian.
Let's find it. I believe somebody clipped it. Gregory.
Brian is asking you, without interruption from anyone else, to repeat the question exactly the way you want us to hear it. So it's up to you right now to talk.
What I'm asking is
the exact quote
produce.
Yeah, so the exact quote was, measuring from the Earth is measuring the Earth. I can find the actual clip of him saying it if you like, but I'm pretty sure I got that.
Because I don't want to respond to something that Nathan may not have said exactly. Nathan may have used these words slightly different or whatever, so I don't want to do that. You know?
What did I do? I stepped away for a second.
Nathan's here.
Right, so last we spoke, you said that measuring from the Earth is measuring the Earth, and I was wondering if you still held to that position or if you'd rethought it at all.
Yeah, the Earth must be measured as flat to acquire elevation angle measurements. Absolutely.
Well, when you say measured as flat, what does that look like to you?
Like latitude measurement?
Okay, so if you're measuring from the Earth, I don't understand how you equate that to measuring the Earth itself.
Because we're measuring from the Earth? That seems like a stupid question. Right back.
This is the semantics argument that we went over a couple weeks ago in regards to being able to measure a tangent of the Earth or from the Earth. Can we establish a baseline standing on a hill?
That last part seems
how convoluted? Hang on. How convoluted do you have to get before you come out of that Plato's cave? If you own property, they got steel pegs in the ground showing you the parameter of your property, and it's legally that section of land is yours, measured. You don't understand you can measure land on Earth?
Yeah, of course you can, but that's not what Nathan was talking about. Measuring from the land is not measuring the land.
Hang on. Hang on. Go through the process of measuring land on Earth, and let's see if that's not what Nathan is talking about.
So you stake one position, you stake another position, you measure the distance between them. That would be a measurement
Mhm.
of
How
the
do you do
land.
that? And how do you do that? How do you do that?
Meter stick, you could take one of those wheelie measuring tape things. I suppose there's some theodolite process you could use, but you'd be measuring a
But
distance.
that's all straight line measurement. Like,
Correct.
you're saying, we refer to what Nathan's talking about, and then how do you measure that distance? The distance Nathan was referring to. Because that's the one you're
I
referring
have
to.
no idea. Yes, because when you say you've measured the Earth to be flat, and then Nathan describes the process by which that happens, that's not what he's actually describing. He's not measuring. He's not describing the Earth being measured flat. He's describing measurement up from a horizontal baseline, which need not necessarily be the Earth itself. So it just seems to not be
But
what he's claiming.
it has to be if you're using a marine sextant.
I'm back now. Sorry, so
Or
you're
any
saying that
sextant,
No.
actually.
the horizontal
One-
baseline, I specifically said latitude though. Saying that's not the Earth. You're saying that's not the ground. We
Today,
measure. Is the latitude measurement not the ground? Because you're inferring it doesn't have to be the ground.
well, you're not measuring the flatness of the ground. No.
I'm not measuring for flatness. We're measuring for declination. We're measuring latitude. Because latitude and flatness, are they the same words? We're measuring Earth flat.
Not the same words.
Latitude is the measurement. That's not a measurement of. It seems like I'm being chanted through. What's going on? I only just sat down.
Sorry, lag. Go ahead.
I need your permission. I need you to shut up while I talk. Not measuring for flatness. We're measuring Earth flat, with latitude being the specific thing that we are measuring. That's 60 nautical miles for 1 degree measured flat.
Latitude is two-dimensional, so technically it is technically flat.
When you say latitude is two-dimensional, is that
No, what I asked was, is latitude not the ground?
no?
You don't believe that the latitude system represents ground? Well, you're just wrong. Latitude is very much a mapping. It seems like you're yammering through me again. Maybe you'd like to give me permission to talk as you start talking through me.
You asked me a question.
Last chance.
Sorry.
You can shut your mouth while I respond, or you can yammer through because it's very painful. Eventually, I'll get sick of you and just tell the mods to get rid of you. I'm talking. That means you're not. We're measuring the ground with latitude. It's a system that globers have to accept to stretch those lines around a globe. It's a ground measurement with the ground position of Polaris. Earth is measured flat for latitude. It absolutely represents the ground. You said no, and I went on to correct you that you're just wrong. You don't know what latitude is. It is the ground, you just don't know what it is. You all clear? That's measuring Earth flat, by the way, just to conclude this little inquiry you had. That's measuring Earth flat. That's absolutely clear. Not for flatness. That would be something else. To do that, we'd also need a horizontal plane of reference to describe or how high or low things were with respect to that horizontal plane of reference. For example, sea level would be used to describe how high or low things are with respect to that flat Earth reference. We'll need to measure Earth flat to describe the flatness also. That wasn't what I was describing when I described a system that we use for navigation.
Nathan, I'm afraid that Plato's Cave is replaying itself because in the celestial navigation, there's a specific word called ground position, GP. It seems like in the globers, it can only work on the curve.
You've decided to talk through yourself, Ten.
I'm almost done. So in the glober's mind, ground position can only work if the ground is curving, but if it's flat, it's no longer the ground.
May I respond to what Nathan said?
Yeah. Could you acknowledge what I said before you respond to it? Latitude is a flat
Yes,
Earth
I
measurement.
acknowledge. I disagree. So when you asked me originally, you said, is latitude the ground, not does it represent the ground? Yes, it represents the ground in some quality. Any measurement will be a measurement of a specific quality. You can measure temperature, distance, size, but you don't measure all of those things simultaneously. Latitude is a measurement. It can be used as a measurement, rather, but it's a specific measurement of a specific quality. You can use it, for example, to measure distance. That distance need not be a linear distance. So I don't know how you smuggle in it's measured
It is
flat
a
from
linear
that.
distance.
You still
No,
haven't
it is
done
a
that.
linear distance. It is a linear distance.
Can I just
That's
point
the
out two
claim.
things? Number one,
Back it up.
latitude is a two-dimensional measurement. Number two, latitude is a coordinates on the surface of Earth. Now, if you understand geometry and you understand right angle triangles, there is no way for latitude to be anything else but a flat plane measurement.
Absolutely, it can. Look at a schoolroom globe.
Tell us,
That has
okay, well, in
latitude
that case,
over
tell
the
us what. Hold on, just one sec. Just tell us
Okay,
what. Tell us what.
let's hear it then.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us what a latitude measurement is. How would you go about doing it? Tell us.
Well, you can use a latitude to measure distance, for example. So between latitudes,
How do
there's
you,
specific distance.
no, not what you can do with latitude. No, we're going to measure latitude. How do we do it? Not what we do after. How do we measure latitude?
Elevation angles to Polaris, at least in the northern hemisphere.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused. Elevation. A moment ago, you said it had nothing to do with the ground, and yet now you mentioned this word
Not what I said.
Excuse me, you don't need to yammer through me, you triggered zealot fundy who's done it 4 times.
Do if you
When you
lie,
say the
you
word,
lying lie.
excuse me, I'm responding to you, triggered zealot coward who needs to chant through the demolishment of his assertion it's got nothing to do with the ground. So we're starting with what was that again? Elevation? I would put to you, sir, that elevation is absolutely unequivocally tied to the ground. Because it's the height. That's what elevation is. Were you under the misapprehension that elevation, that's height off the ground? You seem to think it had nothing to do with the ground. Well, I don't need an answer. That's rhetorical. This is actually me pointing out just how stupid that was for you to assert that an elevation angle measurement has nothing to do with the ground that's flat when it's a straight line, the base for the height, the elevation, absolutely tying it without question to the ground you denied it had nothing to do with. No, we start with something that's got specifically everything to do with the ground because it's elevation from the flat ground we measured. So, in conclusion, we measure Earth flat or latitude. I hope that's clear. No need to respond. It's clear for everybody else.
No, I'm going to respond anyway. So, did you just say that elevation angles to Polaris are the elevation of the ground? Because firstly, I never said that nothing to do with the ground.
Elevation describes something from the ground. That's what elevation is. Do you need me to define elevation for you?
Elevation angle is from the ground. Elevation, full stop, is height of the ground.
Yes, from
Okay,
the
don't
ground.
conflate the two.
That's correct. You seem to want to deny that, and now we're doing it again, even though I've already concluded you're rinsing and repeating the same thing. Yeah, I
Never denied it.
down my timbre. So you, the slow globe believer who thought when we say the word elevation, in this case,
So you can lie.
elevation angle, you thought that measurement didn't have something to do with the ground because you're wrong, ignorant, a globe believer, a denier of measurements, someone who chants through conclusions because they're triggered and then suggests that I can have their permission to talk as they yammer through the top of the conclusion. Maybe we'll get a repetition of the exact same thing I've now overcome twice by pointing out that elevation of anything can only be tied to the ground, the thing he denied it had anything to do with. It does. Brian's also pointed out it's a ground-based grid system. This is everything to do with measuring Earth flat. Excellent.
Yeah, that's a lie. I never
Conclusion,
denied it.
we measure an Earth that's flat with latitude, elevation angle measurements from a flat baseline. A ground position will be ascribed to that line that is flat at the base of Polaris, at its zenith. That would be its ground position on the ground on the straight flat line.
No, it's not on the same straight flat line, though.
Seems that
That's
this
wrong.
is you concluding through the top. I left a long protracted silence. You said nothing. Now,
So
for
I
the
was
sixth time,
muted.
you feel that it's only appropriate to talk when I'm talking. So when your opportunity comes is when there's a protracted silence, and then you don't say
It's the only time I'm
not when I'm
unmuted.
in the middle of concluding your loss. That's just you throwing your dummy out the pram because you've had your ass spanked, and now you want to cry about it by bleating as I
Asian
talk.
chess
No,
grandmaster.
my friend, I'm concluding because I won. Your position was, how do we measure Earth flat with latitude and elevation angles?
Which you never
Well, it's
answered.
elevations. It's elevations. They're with respect to the ground.
It's not.
That's how it's measured.
That's not the same measurement. You're wrong.
Chanting your... Was it so desperately important that you chant "you're wrong" through my concise summary of the conclusion you rinse and repeat the same question to, and then said "you're wrong" through the top of
Rinse
it?
and repeated
Is that
the
the
same
thing you felt was...
fallacious argument.
Is that the thing you felt was really important to interrupt the conclusion? You're wrong straight through the top of it coming.
Extremely important.
Before it's concluded,
And
and chanting now while I point out what a scumbag move that was. Scumbags. That's what we're dealing with. No, not tolerant to actually listen to the conclusion or acknowledge it in any way. Better to say wrong, wrong, wrong through the top of it. Because that will overcome the rebuttal that he's had twice and hasn't acknowledged about the flat Earth measurement that is latitude. So,
it's still
there was
wrong.
another protracted silence. One where you won't be talking through afterwards, yeah? Yeah,
no,
you
that
didn't
was
have
my
anything
fault.
to say in
Sorry.
that little protracted silence. I'm going to summarise again that we're measuring Earth flat with latitude. It's got ground positions to Polaris with respect to the declination towards the horizon. As you back away from it at 1 degree, that's a flat Earth measurement along a flat baseline with a GP on that line. Flat. I hope that's clear.
Sorry, Nathan. That was my fault. I had him on mute. I didn't get him off quick enough when you stopped speaking. If you want me to unmute him. Yeah, so that was my fault.
Are you having to mute him while I give my rebuttal so that he can't be heard talking through the top of it? Because if you're having to mute him, it means he's not listening to what I say. And therefore, when he comes off mute, he won't in any way acknowledge or respond to the things I've said because he's been talking while I've been saying them. So at this point, there is no point communicating with him because he's not actually listening to what I've put to him. That was demonstrably clear when he rinsed and repeated the exact same thing I'd responded to. Not listening. Why talk to him anymore?
No worries.
Yeah, he's done.
Can I say something, Nathan, to you?
Again, Brian?
Can I say something to you? Are you?
Yeah, I'm a bit sweaty. I went out for a second to sort something out.
Excuse me. How can you have a conversation or a debate with someone who doesn't understand the basic principles of what they're arguing with, or arguing for or against or whatever? I mean, he didn't understand the basic principles of latitude. Latitude is the coordinates on the surface of Earth. Latitude and longitude is two-dimensional. It's always two-dimensional. The surface of a sphere is not two-dimensional. He doesn't understand basic things. Like, he thinks an elevation, like, there's a problem with their opposition. They think because an airplane pilot can use a sextant and a horizontal from their position to gain an angle to a celestial body, they think that means that the horizontal that he's using doesn't have to be part of anything. It doesn't have to relate to anything. No, the only reason that the pilot can do that, or the person with the artificial horizon or anything else, is because they're emulating what the marine sextant is doing when the surface of Earth is being used with the marine sextant. I mean, it's emulating that. It's emulating the use of Earth as the horizontal. That's what it's emulating. And they don't understand this.
It's parallel with the ground.
Otherwise, the bubble sextant wouldn't. If there wasn't for the marine sextant and the use of it, if it wasn't for celestial navigation in the marine sense, there would be no celestial navigation in the aviation sense. It just wouldn't exist. The only reason that land navigation with the stars or air navigation with the stars is possible is because it first can work using the surface of Earth in a marine sense on the sea. That's why. It's because it's proven to, because you're just replicating what's happening down at sea level. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. I think so. This is why I think a lot of the people we argue with, they're disjointed. They don't realize no, a bubble sextant would have from an air been used by a pilot. The only reason that is possible to work is because there's already a marine sextant using the surface of Earth. They don't get this. They think, you don't need to reference the Earth. Yes, you do.
Yeah, spot on, Brian. Now, even in their own lingo, it has to match what they call the true altitude. And the true altitude reference is the equatorial plane. And they can't even use their globe when they want to do it. They have to go to the middle and get a plane and say, okay, so on the curved surface, which isn't real, we do a tangent plane, and that's got to match the true altitude, which is the rational horizon, the equatorial plane. And if you happen to be on the plane, 30,000 feet, as Brian is saying, how are you going to parallel that true altitude? Well, how about spirit level? That will match what the ground is, what you're measuring from. Spot on.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he understands. I don't think he understands what measurement is. Is he still here?
He is. He's been put on server mute because I got sick.
Yeah, he's here. I just got him on mute.
Ask him to define measurement.
I did.
Totem. Can you define measurement?
Oh. Yes, I can. So measuring is to assess a specific quantity of a specific quality of a thing using some tool or methodology. Excuse me, an objective quantity.
You left one piece out. By comparison with a standard.
Yes, that would be the tool. I mean, the units, I don't know if you have to say a standard, you can make the standard, but I would actually say that that's
you're not comparing it. Yes. No, shut up. No, you're not comparing it with a tool. That's non sequitur, especially by comparison with the standard. When you measure an elevation angle, what's the standard?
Are you saying for the angle? That would be degrees.
No. You're measuring by comparison with the standard. Define elevation angle.
The degrees in height of typically a celestial object, but doesn't have to be. Excuse me, off from some horizontal reference. That would be elevation angle.
A horizontal reference, the horizontal standard. You're measuring from a standard, right? Welcome to Flat Earth.
I don't know if it calls it the standard.
Yeah,
no.
It was rhetorical. What he said afterwards was welcome
it's not
to
the
Flat
Earth,
Earth.
though. That horizontal is
I'm now talking. You could stutter your way through this, but I'm now talking. I mean, shut up. Target elevation angle between the horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the vertical plane. Another one?
Are you claiming that horizontal is the Earth?
That's the definition of an elevation angle. Do you want another one? The elevation angle, sometimes referred to as solar elevation angle, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line and the observer and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. I'll just repeat that last bit. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. End quote. Sustainable by design. Definition of altitude angle.
Yes, that's not the Earth, though. It's a constructed horizontal.
Sorry. It's specifically the Earth. It says the horizontal plane the observer is standing on, and it's describing a height. Do you think when we describe heights of things, what would you suggest that we describe heights of things with respect to? Middle of space, maybe?
Could be.
Ground. The ground. We covered this 3 times. You just chanted through me and had to be server muted while you chanted through me putting this to you the last 3 times. Elevation specifically with reference to the ground. Could you acknowledge that rather than rumpusing it, chanting through it, ignoring it, and having to be server muted so you don't get away with listening to it? Specifically with respect to the ground, it's elevation.
I acknowledge that you said that, but that's wrong because I can measure the height of a spire on the top of a tower, and I'm not measuring from the ground. I'm measuring from the base of that spire.
Wait, the height off what? The height off the middle of space? Was it the height of the tower off the middle of space?
Spire.
Off the height of the spire off the middle of the space vacuum, or is it a height of a spire off the bleeding ground?
Off the top of the tower, where the base of that spire is situated.
Is it situated in the middle of space or on the ground?
On top of a tower, not on the ground.
Is the base of the tower on the ground?
But that's not what we're measuring.
Hold on.
We're measuring
What he's saying is, hold on, he is saying he can measure a point in the middle of space, isn't he?
Nope.
Would that be...
no, he's saying that...
There's a further follow-up question. You're saying, I'm measuring something that sits on something else that isn't on the ground. Well, I wonder why we'd be doing that. Okay, given that we can measure things in the middle of space, and we're talking about specifically about navigation, can you give me perhaps an example within navigation where that's done, please? So it comports with your example that's stupid. Can you example where that's done in navigation, please?
Yes. So if I want to measure the angular distance between 2 stars, one above the other, I would measure one from that star and the height
that's
from
not
that
done in navigation.
to the
You
other
don't do
star.
that in navigation.
To measure the distance between stars, the angular distance between stars? Sure you do.
You measure their elevation angle. Who's talking through me in Discord?
Oh, it was. Sorry.
We're measuring elevation angles.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You said the angular distance between them in the sky. That doesn't have any relationship
You want
to
to
navigation. Now you're chanting through me, pointing out the flaw in your reply. You have to do. Is this the dance we'll go through every time we have a conversation with one another? You make some stupid nonsense up. I've asked you where we get an angle to something that isn't with respect to the ground. Because when we take elevation angles for navigation, your response was to talk about angular distance between stars. We're not measuring angular distance between stars in the sky. No, that's useless for navigation. You obviously don't know what we do when we navigate. Obviously. Because you wouldn't have suggested that when I specifically asked you.
Better example.
And there's him yammering through me. I don't think I want to continue with the conversation again. It's reached the same point as before, where when I undermine, undo, and debunk his crap, he starts yammering like now, straight through the top of it, so he doesn't have to listen to it. So if he talks through the top of me, I won't have to be listened to. He won't have to respond to it. It's just that's the end of an intolerant wanker's time here, it seems, because I'm concluding and you're yammering through me. No, there are no scenarios when we measure elevation angles because we're acquiring ground positions. That's all we're doing. You gave a scenario to compare and contrast where, in this scenario, it's a spire on top of a tower, so it's got nothing to do with the ground. Oh, right, where does that compare to elevation angles for navigation? Oh, well, if we measure the angular distance between stars in the sky, we don't do that for navigation. Now it's constant yammering through the top of that conclusion that's offered a false description of something that won't get used for navigation. Clearly either misunderstanding the question, being too dumb, or trying to offer a false answer to suggest that his spire example somehow comports with navigation. When we navigate with ground positions. He's saying it's got nothing to do with the ground. Why has it got nothing to do with the ground? Oh, because of a false comparison with a spire. I mean, no doubt the server moderators had to step in so I could get to the end of that conclusion. Ergo, he hasn't listened to a single word, and when he gets taken off server mute, he won't be replying to that which I've just put to the audience because he hasn't listened to it. Ergo, I don't want to talk to him anymore. Unless you take him off server mute and he instantly acknowledges and replies to that which I've just said, which he won't do, I don't want to talk to him anymore.
He said he had a customer, that's why he deafened.
Shocking. So
Yeah,
he's engaged
just
in
doing what they're all
conversation,
doing at
and
the
at
moment,
point that he
Nathan.
gets annihilated, he's got something else to do. Of course.
Yeah, but he's just trying to get in there what everyone else, all these other globes are trying to get in now, and they're trying to state somehow that celestial navigation with a sextant is negated by zenith angles. And in the chat, that's what he's got. Haha, I got it in there, zenith angles. So again, they're just trying to negate this sextant and get off topic.
What about them? He could have put that to me if he'd actually acknowledged some of the responses, then actually argued for his zenith angles. Instead, he chose to chant through the devastating rebuttals that I put to him. And from the chat, he's now put something else. Oh, really? Well, it'd be useful if we could have a back and forth where I put a conclusion to you, you acknowledge it in defeat, rather than chant straight through the top of it, ignore it, and then put something else from the chat. So, from the chat, did he acknowledge my rebuttal? Oh no, he was on to his next point without having listened to a single sodding word I said.
Is he back yet, or is he there?
Put himself on server deafen while I was pointing out his loss, and then gone to the chat on server deafen, and decided that from the chat he's going to tell me about reciprocating zenith angles. I'm reading between the lines because all he said is zenith angles. Does that mean he's acknowledged a single word I said? Absolutely not.
Nathan,
he's just deafened at the moment, so he probably has got a customer, so he is off server mute, but he's deafened.
I had time to tell you about zenith angles in the chat, of course.
May I speak?
Yes.
Okay. The whole point with the elevation angle with a Mariner sextant is to establish the zenith distance. Zenith distance in a Mariner's sextant, the two-step process. First is the elevation angle above the horizon. Then you subtract that from 90, which is the observer's zenith, and that would be the co-altitude zenith distance. This creates right angle triangle in the sky with the adjacent having to match the exact distance on the Earth that the Mariner is on. Creates the box with the 490s. We have pictures from their own books that show that the zenith angle is for zenith distance between the sun's GP on the Earth to the position of the observer, where he's 90 degrees on the Earth, parallel zeniths. The sky miles, the adjacent in the sky with the upside down right angle, is the exact one on the bottom, referencing the Earth. Therefore, the box with the 490s. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, he accepts all that. He's just saying that the horizontal line at the end of that box is not the Earth. So that's what I was going to disprove that. Right.
No, don't waste your oxygen. How do navigators who leave Los Angeles port end up in Hawaii if it doesn't represent the exact zenith distance to another?
Yeah, see,
it's nonsense.
No, see, what he's trying to do is the same thing as all the rest of them. Try and remove by claiming that the horizontal line at the end of that box is not the Earth. They're removing reality and stating that it's not the Earth because it's not the globe Earth, and that's the real problem. But he doesn't understand how the corrections work and why they prove that it is the Earth. This is the main problem with them.
Yeah, you're right. They have to deny, which is what I said earlier. They have to. It only works on a globe, but not on the flat surface. If the globe is a flat surface, it can't work. So, in his world, Hawaii is somewhere in the air. It's not on the ground.
At some point, it's going to take reciprocating zenith angles as a presupposition and utilize tangential planes with flat Earth angles to claim that they function in a reciprocating way. That is to say, they are diverging from one another on a sphere surface. With that in mind, his basis assertion that we have diverging zeniths is an assertion that on the surface we've got these points perpendicular to a plane that don't match each other and aren't parallel. That's his essential claim. But with us accepting that, which obviously we wouldn't, yeah, they have to be parallel, as on screen now. I had your box up, by the way, Tenth, while you were going through that. With that in mind, if we were to accept this nonsense that zeniths aren't parallel, which they are, then what? That will be proving that the ground he denied initially is now curving. So, okay, now that we're using points perpendicular to the surface, isn't curving because it's perpendicular, but tangential to a curve below it, then I can prove with reciprocating zenith angles that the surface is curving and it will now be the surface. I've used all those flat earth angles that I didn't allow you to say were the surface, because obviously we could be measuring spires when we measure ground positions. Aren't the ground according to him, but will be the ground once he's got us to accept reciprocating zenith angles. And it will be the ground.
I was
going to ask a question. Sorry, Brian, real quick. I was going to try to get in and try to ask him a question because, and it relates to the point you just brought up, Nate. This thing with the elevation angle and it describing the horizontal plane that the observer is standing on. If it was defined as the curved plane or the curved surface that the observer is standing on, would it be the ground then, according to all of them? Would it be okay now to say it's the ground? Is it the problem being that it's defined as a horizontal plane of reference? I want to see that coming from them. Like, I want to hear it. That was
but that's exactly what he's going to say to you.
That's exactly what he did say.
He's going to do.
He did say
that's
it's not the ground.
He wants to say it is the earth. Go on.
That's exactly what he did say. It's not the ground. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. What if I measure a spire by false comparison? Where does that slot into navigation? Oh, it doesn't. We're measuring with respect to ground positions that are on the ground. For a latitude grid that's on the ground, two-dimensional, can only be flat, measured flat with these 490s. Wasn't it, like I say, when he was listening, none of it was getting acknowledged. Just no, it isn't.
I acknowledged all of it.
No.
Okay.
No, you did.
Okay, well, let's see if you can acknowledge this. On screen now from a navigation manual describing the process. You could accept this as being a measurement of Polaris or any other navigation star. It unequivocally describes there being 490s and parallel zeniths on a flat plane. For the co-altitude measurement to match the ground, it must be parallel on both sides, aka a square or oblong. Well, that's got a flat baseline. It is the ground. This is from a bleeding navigation manual. You said not the ground. So, number one, do you accept that zeniths are parallel as described in this diagram for it to function as it's shown in this diagram? Or do you think that zeniths aren't parallel?
I can't see what you're looking at, but is that the thing put out by Viking?
From a navigation, it's Harold Jacoby, Practical Navigator. Look, you said
I would not say
something about zeniths in the chat. You said something about zeniths in the chat?
Correction. That's not from Harold Jacoby's book. This is from an actual almanac. I believe it's the Air Almanac that the mariners use because it's easier to use than the normal almanac. But it doesn't matter. You can't change the process. So look at Master B in a second for his little comparison and see if he can wake up once I post it. It'll be coming to you right now.
I just posted something from Master B from your tent. Is that the one?
Oh, the thing AJ posted?
I believe that's the one. I'm just trying to clarify. I think they're posting something else.
Okay, because Elijah posted the original to this, and that orange line was labeled as a grade.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, I was posting. Yeah, that was the one I sent Nathan that shows the box with the 490s. This is how it's done, period. End of story. This is from their own book. Okay, not flat earth navigation. Hang on.
The 490s.
Not from a flat earth navigation.
Circles with the guy. What a complete waste of time. I'm here listening to you all go around in circles with the guy.
I'm not going in circles.
It's not the earth according to him. But why don't you just use the corrections that prove that it is the Earth? Stop wasting time. I don't get what you're all doing.
It's not about the guy. It's about the audience. And it's the next two pictures is going to bury this guy's ideology. Can you post the next two pictures I just posted?
Yep.
But it's
I've just dropped them in there. MANUFACTOTUM. There's the first one at 17 minutes past the hour, and then there's another one at 17 just below, but there's a couple of people talking between them. So one's of the satellite in the sky, and the other one is of the Eiffel Tower.
Mm-hmm. What am I meant to answer here?
What's the reference?
You keep saying it's not the ground, but is specifically the ground. And these diagrams all have the baseline labeled as ground level. It's a straight line that isn't curved. It's intrinsic. It's elevation. It must be with respect to the ground. These are all things you've denied repeatedly.
Yes, I would still deny that.
Okay, can you get us a reference that shows that we measure elevations from globe level, please? Can I have that citation?
From globe level, sorry? I don't think I ever said that. I don't know what that
that's because it doesn't. Yes, I'll conclude then. That's because it doesn't happen. We only measure things from ground level, sea level, things of that nature. There is no measuring from a curve. The way you describe the curve is by describing the deviation from ground level. That's how it is described when you think you've got Earth curve. But you've got to have a ground level to describe it from. In the same way, you've got to have a ground level to describe the heights of things, aka elevations. The things you described had anything to do with the ground, because you could describe an elevation angle of a tower on top of a tower. Well, meanwhile, in navigation, we're measuring with respect to ground positions for a system of latitude that's on the ground, something you denied. Now, I did actually say that literally the exact same thing about 45 seconds ago. But it seems we're into that time of the show where we go through the same thing with somebody over and over again. And they go, nuh-uh, and give us false comparisons like measuring spires, and then can't give a juxtaposition with the actual navigation process. Navigation meaning the ground we navigate that you deny, just so we're clear.
Right, so we measure from eye level, technically, not ground level. Like there's dip corrections we can do to bring it down to the ground, but those require globe measurements, or globe calculations, excuse me.
You don't have eye level on
regardless,
a globe.
No, they don't.
You don't have eye level on a globe.
Wait,
you don't have eye level on a globe. Oh, God. Don't have eye level.
Just made it.
Have eye level on a sextant.
I'm sorry. One second, please, before you continue. I don't know. I must have been on for the past 25 minutes or so, but didn't I welcome him to Flat Earth? How does he respond?
That's what they do.
I can't believe that you allowed him to state that the dip correction uses globe corrections. I can't believe you just allowed that to walk past you.
I asked
you
him.
You just allowed that to walk past you. I can't believe you did that.
No, I did not. I said, give me a
you
higher.
That's exactly. Everyone here heard it.
Okay.
I can justify it.
Everyone here heard what he said, and you just left that walk past you.
What did he say, Brian?
We shouldn't even be talking to him anymore.
I agree. What do you think
what
got
is
past
this?
me?
Are you guys bored or something?
Yeah,
wasn't he dead?
Why is it with you and Brian today? This is what I do for a living.
So you want to kill him again? Okay.
As long as he keeps respawning, I'll keep shooting him in the face with both barrels. Yes.
Okay.
Brian,
sorry, you gave me.
Go ahead, Brian.
To this man, could you detail for me the height of void correction? Please.
Yes.
From start to finish.
So it's 1.76 times the square root of the height of I above presumably sea level.
Welcome to Flat Earth. Welcome to Flat Earth.
How is that a welcome to Flat Earth?
Sorry, do you want to just say your sentence again? Do you want to just say your sentence again? Sorry, do you want to just say your sentence again? Excuse me, you could just yammer through me asking you to repeat it, and then you won't maybe have to. I'm going to ask you to put a particular emphasis on two words. Sea level. Do you want to just repeat your definition and just put a nice strong emphasis on those two words, and then when I welcome you to Flat Earth for a second time, you'll understand why. Go ahead.
Sea level doesn't contradict the globe.
Right, that's not what I asked. I asked you to repeat your definition. You seem to be doing something different now. You described your height
Sure.
above sea level.
1.76 times the square root of the height of I. Presumably, the height of I will be above sea level.
That's a level.
Above sea
That's not curved.
level.
That's flat Earth. That's not your cue to keep talking through the conclusion that you've been welcomed to flat Earth.
That's the horizontal.
Maybe if you keep yammering through the conclusion, it won't be a conclusion anymore. No, this is the conclusion time. When you tell me that you need to measure the height of the eye above sea level, I welcome you to flat Earth because you'll be measuring Earth flat. Elevation, height of eye, something you also denied had anything to do with the ground, even though it's elevation. Now you've made it absolutely clear. You know it's got something to do with the ground while he yammers through me again. Server
I never denied it.
Can you put this man on mute? Because I'm concluding my victory. And he wants to take that away from me in his loss by chanting through the conclusion. Yeah, your height above sea level is sea level. That's not sea curve. That's not sea globe. That's sea level. The thing you'll be starting this process with. Ergo, the third time. Welcome to flat Earth. You are measuring Earth flat.
He didn't detail the height of eye correction at all.
No, he just got to the height of eye. He said you measure your height off the sea level.
No, he inferred horizon distance. He didn't detail the correction at all. Why did you leave him off with that?
Because as soon as he measured a flat Earth, I held him to the flat Earth he needed.
He didn't do. I have, like what he said, I can't believe you're all after leaving him off with that. That is the very linchpin. It's the very thing you're after leaving them off with there. Is the very way out for them. Because you're not holding them to task on the very claim he made. And
but Brian,
they will keep, hang on, Tent. They will keep doing this to all of you. Day after day after day after day. If that's what you want, then I don't know what. How can you do that to yourself?
What? Do what?
Makes no sense to me.
Do what?
You just allowed him to urinate down your back.
Aren't you?
Urinate down your back and tell you it was raining. That's what you just did.
Yeah, that metaphor doesn't help either. You need to explicitly detail what you say has transpired that isn't correct.
He just claimed the dip correction, which is the height of eye correction, has something to do with a globe of radius 3959 miles, and you just left them off. Right? Proving to anyone he needs to explain it to, because you left them off with that, he can then show them how what he claimed, right, was that the horizontal line is nothing to do with the surface of the Earth, and it's not the surface of the Earth. You've just allowed him off with that.
What did he say that I let him off with?
I asked him to detail the height of eye correction. He came back with a heap of nonsense based off of a mathematical distance to a mathematical horizon. Right? And you jumped on the word sea level. Right? It doesn't matter to him that you jumped on the word sea level.
Brian's right, he's got in the chat. He says, sorry, you're right, he's got it in the chat here. He said, it does, and I backed it up.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Right.
Yeah,
absolutely nothing.
Please just stop repeating the same. Brian, please calm down.
I won't, Nathan. I won't. I've had enough of it. 3 years now. He literally urinated all over you and told you it was raining. That's what he just did. And you allowed it to happen because you're too busy looking for buzzwords to jump on.
It was a whole bunch of talking and over talking. I barely heard it. So,
what Brian is trying to say, from his point of view, is that once you understand how it all works, which you have to go to the books, it says you must make a correction for height of eye. It must be on the surface of the sea, which gives you, which corrects the obtuse angle to an acute angle, which is necessary before you come up with your final degree measurements. Okay? That's what Brian's trying to say. This guy, he's just not explaining it, and Brian wanted to catch him making that mistake.
That's the lens. I want him to go through the details and then show in the almanac where those corrections match the corrections for the dip to a radius of a globe of radius 3959 miles, which they don't. They match a horizontal plane. But he was just left off. Right? He now got away with claiming that the horizontal is not the surface of the earth, and then you left him off, Nathan, with the very thing that you should have held him on that proves it is the surface of the earth. You left him off with that.
He said sea level. How are you saying I let him off with not being the surface of Earth when I held him to task on him utilising sea level?
Because technically, he can play back this audio and show it to someone who's completely unsuspecting, right, where he proved himself correct and you didn't know what you're talking about.
No, what are you on about?
Because he's thrown in the equation, including the radius or the distance to the horizon or the radius.
Yeah, he's throwing in stuff that I asked him to detail the height of Y correction. He didn't. He said 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, blah, blah, blah. Right, that's not the detailing of the dip correction. That's not the detailing of the height of Y correction. He didn't do it. He threw in a heap of nonsense and then the word sea level that you jumped on. He got away. Brian, he actually won.
Brian, to be fair, though, like, I mean, I understand your point. But, like, who cares who he's showing what to? He's already conceded to the horizontal plane, conceded to sea level. I mean, I don't.
No, but he wasn't. He didn't.
Chocolate Brian.
Hold on.
That's the thing. Hold on.
He didn't do that.
Hold on. What do you want? What do you want?
What I want is for you not to jump on the words sea level and for him to have to detail and show and prove his claims concerning height of Y having something to do with the surface of a globe of radius 3959 miles, which he can't do. That's what needed to happen.
I can clarify what he actually stated, if you like, guys. Because what he stated was, before he got muted, was he threw out that equation, for the radius. And then just before he got muted, and what he's stating is that the sea level or the horizontal doesn't need to be on the surface. So again, he's trying to get away from that surface, even though Nathan has pulled him up on it. Okay?
Yeah, but just go to the picture in Master B from an official navigation.
That was I think I got it.
You know, holding him where he's lying by saying, "Oh yeah, that's what you're saying. Let's see it." When he said sea level, it was just kind of an out for him because everyone knows what level is, but they argue that it's not what it is. Instead of him just, floundering around in his own claim, not having anything to back it up with.
Before he gave his 1.6 times whatever, there was a lot of jumbled audio. I really couldn't hear him. Maybe Nathan just didn't hear him.
I heard him clearly twice. And hence that diagram is not
he didn't say
what I needed to do.
He didn't say it twice. He maybe said the 1.6. I didn't hear him.
I heard him say clearly twice. It's 1.76.
I'm not talking about that. My God.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about then. That's what I'm talking about.
Drop it for now. All right. Focus on the ballers. All right. We'll deal with it in the after show. Okay?
But this is the after show.
The after show then.
Well, the problem is he went to a mathematical equation.
Hello.
And the picture I put in Master B from an official navigation site is like the biggest paradox you ever saw, because the right angle triangle that's on top of the made up sphere is exactly what has to happen when you do height of eye correction. That adjacent is sea level, but the ballers have a different definition for sea level because they think water curves. And so sea level is only locally level, but it curves the rest of the way. So this is why that picture is so significant, because the bottom half is they're in Plato's cave, and the top half is reality.
Okay.
Hey, Nathan, hold on. I think I could solve it. Hey, Nathan, you still there?
Yes.
Nathan.
Yes.
He's dipped.
No, he's there. I can hear him.
Oh, sorry. I accidentally kicked myself out of the G Plus Hangout. When I rejoined it had me on mute, so they couldn't actually hear me, but they can now. Yes, I am here.
Okay. So remember, was it yesterday or the other day? Whenever you hear dip angle correction, which it should be, that's what it's titled. Just do. I'm not saying my way is the perfect way, but wasn't it quite telling? So you're a ship's navigator. As soon as you hear dip angle correction, well, we want to see step by step how you acquire that, and bring them right to the harbor, and let them walk through you each step. That'll solve everything, wouldn't it?
That's what I wanted. I wanted them to have to go through some step A right through to Z. Because at Z,
Okay, well,
he destroys his globe.
I've got Brian's citations in our chat here. So we've got at 30 minutes past the hour are the first ones. And one of them is a solution for the
Brian's citations? I didn't post anything.
Sorry, you didn't. Sorry, no, they were tenths. Sorry. I'm messing up.
We don't want citations. Have him. Is he still here?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah.
Ask him to give it's the dip angle correction. He's the ship's navigator. He's coming into the harbor. He's got to work for the next week. They're sailing from Portugal to Texas, and poor dumb bastards are trying to invade Texas, but that's another story. But he's the ship's navigator. So ask him to please go step by step from the point where he gets out of his car. When he gets onto the ship, step by step, how the dip angle is found, and what is the dip angle correction. Is that fair?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, he's just here listening, I believe. MANUFACTOTUM.
Okay.
He's unmuted.
Yeah, MANUFACTOTUM. Did you get that?
Yeah, so the step by step. Yeah.
You get out of your car, you're in the harbor.
Right. So I get onto the ship. Presumably, I'm going to be taking my measurements from like the crow's nest, right? So before I get onto the ship or from the ship, I take the height of the crow's nest from the water. And that's going to be my height of eye, right? So when I make my corrections, I'm going to use that times, the square root of that times 1.76, and that'll be in meters.
Oh,
sorry.
The water. No, go ahead, Brian. He's all yours.
Yeah, sorry. So you just measure your height of your eye in the crow's nest above the water underneath the boat. That's what you just said, yeah?
Yes.
Right. And where are you getting 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in feet? What is that in reference to?
That's in reference to the almanac.
No, what is that in reference to? I'm already throwing you up here to be the pretender.
How do we derive it?
What is that in reference to? What are you referring to? 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. What is that in reference to?
That's in meters. That's the
right. What is it referring to? What is this 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in feet? What does that relate to?
He's going to play silly buggers again and
Nathan,
step in. Stop.
Nathan,
Stop.
Nathan.
Stop. That means stop. He keeps responding with a correction that it's not in feet, it's in meters, rather than answering the bleeding question.
I know that.
Maybe I don't understand the question.
In reference to.
Now he's chanting through the repetition of the question, so it begins.
Because you came in, I was fine as I was. I'm doing the thing that you should have done, and now you're coming in to ruin me doing it.
Shut up, Nathan.
So is it degrees you're looking for? I'm not sure what you're asking.
Times the square root of observer's height in feet in reference to. Is that a distance?
No, that's angle. That's the angle.
1.7. The square root. Square roots aren't angles.
No, the square root of the height. The height in meters, right? That's what you're working with in meters.
That's not an
1.76
square root of the observer's height in feet is not an angle.
Yes, I know. You're going to be subtracting that from the angular, from the...
Oh, sorry. That's not an angle. So what is the 1.76?
Gives you what you did.
Brian, I've got to be able to... Brian, I've got to be able to still control the show.
I know what I'm doing,
Brian, I need to be able to control the show.
I think I get the question.
Well, that means that I've got to clear the airwaves, get the guy to stop doing what he's doing, which is in the middle of your repetition, he starts answering you. Now I need to stop that so I can clear the airwaves and say, excuse me, dude. Yeah, you need to stop talking through the top of Brian's repetition of the question you didn't answer. The last time you did it, you started correcting him on feet over meters like it was relevant. Yeah, he's asking you what it's in reference to. You've said it's an angle. He's pointed out a square root's not an angle. Now I'm going to hand over to Brian to reiterate that point without you yammering through it so that once he's finished, you can then, once he's concluded, respond. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, Nathan. So 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, is that a distance? Is it distance?
No.
Yes or no? No. So it's not a calculated distance.
It's a calculated angle that you subtract.
It's not an angle. It's not an angle.
It gives you an angle.
Sorry, say that again.
It gives you an angle.
It doesn't give you an angle. Right. What is the 1.76?
Stop. The word's changed. I've got to stop in again.
Why?
Because he's changed the word. Gives you is. Sorry. I need to step in to clarify.
My God, you're making this impossible.
No, I'm trying to keep charge. You're making it impossible by defying me every single step that I do so. Dude, you changed the words. Yeah? Is an angle, gives you an angle. They're two different things. You've changed the vernacular halfway through the discussion.
You changed it earlier, Nathan. When you stepped in, I was trying to hold them to these
you
things,
could
and you
make
keep
this.
Stepping in.
You could make this about the discussion I had earlier, Brian. You're making it so bloody difficult for me. It's untrue.
No, you're making it difficult. You're the one making this difficult, Nathan. I'm doing the thing you should have been doing 10 minutes ago. Now, 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. You're claiming that's not a distance.
I'm claiming that gives you the angle that you subtract from the elevation angle you took.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, are you claiming that the 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in feet is not a calculated distance?
I don't believe it's a distance, no.
Believe? I thought you knew. This is a knowing or not knowing.
I don't know how it was derived. I know what it results in is an angle that you subtract from the elevation angle.
How are you getting? You don't know what. So when you threw out 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, when you threw that out there as if it's the dip correction, you didn't even know if it was the dip correction.
No, I know it's a dip correction.
But it's not the dip correction.
Sure it is.
It's not.
So
dip correction is an angle correction. Dip correction is an angular correction. The square root of the observer's height in feet is not an angular correction.
The result is in degrees.
Result of what? You haven't defined the 1.76 yet. What's the 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in feet?
Meters.
Is that a distance or not?
Please, can I just correct one thing so it just stops being wrong? It's really bugging me. It's times the observer's height in meters, Brian. Just stop saying feet and change it to meters and everything will be square.
I don't care what it is. I don't care.
He's going to correct.
I don't care, Nathan. It's irrelevant. There's another. There's a one for the feet. And one for, just let it happen.
Well, I'd say at this point he's not actually going to answer that. Whether he's not answering honestly and he's being dishonest, or whether he just doesn't. Hang on, or whether he just doesn't understand where it was derived from or what it's referencing. You're not going to get the answer.
AJ, I'm trying to get. I'm trying to pin him down. Nathan is making it absolutely impossible. I'm trying to pin him down on these 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. Okay, Nathan? I'm trying to pin him down on that and how that has any relation to where that comes from, right? Where that number comes from, what it's in relation to, and how it connects to the dip correction. And
Yeah,
he's
100%.
avoiding because
I
he
understand.
knows that I know what he's talking about.
Oh yeah, sure, that's fine. I don't know what the 1.76 is derived from. I just know that that's the dip correction you apply.
That's not the dip correction.
What is the dip correction then?
Dip correction is an angular correction. The 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters is not the dip correction. And what is the 1.76 times the... Tell me, what is the 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters? What is that?
That is the subtraction from the elevation angle you take if you're sighting the horizon.
That's not the subtraction. You don't subtract square roots. We don't have subtract square roots from angles.
Are you fucking retarded?
You don't subtract square roots from angles.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. That's the calculation you do for the dip correction. You get an angle from that calculation, and you subtract it from that.
It's not.
Okay.
Just put it to you 4 times.
Would you like a citation?
Stop. He said it to you 4 times. Don't subtract square roots from angles.
Well, he was wrong all 4 times.
Can you remove the other white knight?
Yeah.
He's put it to you 4 times. Now you're going to acknowledge it. You're going to eat it. Oh. I understand that it's stupid to assert that square roots are minus from angles. That's just fundamentally wrong. Brian's put it to you. You're going to eat it so we can move on. So eat it. Acknowledge it. Go.
He's wrong. That's the dip correction. You multiply it times 1.76 and you subtract that angle result from the height of from the angular elevation angle.
1.76 doesn't give you an angle. 1.76 doesn't give you an angle. The 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters doesn't give you an angle. That gives you something else.
No, it gives you an angle.
What angle?
It doesn't give you an angle.
Okay,
it doesn't give you an angle.
Right, Brian, stop 1 sec. Okay, you say it gives you an angle. So, okay. What is it? 1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. What angle is that?
Depends how, if it's 1 meter, then you're going to be, what, 1.76?
What, degrees?
Yes, degrees.
It's not. That's just a total lie what he just said there. It's 1.76. Yeah.
You're saying you minus 1.76 degrees off your elevation angle to give you a co-altitude. Is that what you're saying? Or to do the dip correction, sorry.
You don't. That's a load of rubbish. He just told a complete lie.
Okay. No. Citation, please.
There you go. I just put the chart. in the chat.
He's going to produce the dip correction chart. He's not going to detail what the 1.76 is.
Let's just clarify that with him, please.
No, I already told you I don't know what this 1.76 is derived from.
Stop! What we want is a citation for this 1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in meters as an angle that gives you dip correction as an angle you can minus from your height. Is that what you're providing?
Yeah, so the chart I posted? Yes.
It's in Master B for you guys.
Okay.
So the far right.
Going on here, Nathan.
Go ahead.
So, what is the dip then for 35 feet? Correction. What amount of correction is that for 35 feet?
35 feet is not on here. It goes to 21 feet.
What about 50 feet?
Did you say 50 or 15?
50.
It's also not on here. It goes to 21 feet.
I can see it here. I can see height of eye for 50 feet. You must be looking
where
in
are
the
you
wrong
looking?
place. I can see the correction.
Wait, where does it say the square root on it? Where does it say that?
No, they've done the calculations for us.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So,
stop a second, Brian.
yeah.
You told us that to get the correction for dip, you needed to take 1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. I asked you very specifically if this citation would back that. You said yes. Now I've said, where does it say that? And you've told me what they've done to achieve this. So it's not on there. This does
So if
not
you look at the
back.
first entry,
So I just every time I go to conclude, this asshole steps all over me. I asked you if this was a citation to suggest the 1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. It isn't. That absolutely infuriates me, you lying scum. How dare you waste
it
our time?
absolutely suggests that, you piece of shit. Look,
It's not on there. It's not on there. You lying scum globe zealot. This is not that citation. I made it explicitly clear what I was asking for. And this isn't it. You can take him off server mute. It doesn't have that on there anywhere.
first entry, top right. 1 meter, 1.8. That's 1.76, I assume approximate.
That's not 1.7
Absolutely
times the
suggests
square root of the
exactly what I
observer's height
said.
detailed on the citation. He's just rinsed and repeated the exact same shit. It does not say anywhere on there that equation, does it?
No, and the 1.8
No, it gives the result of that
Agreed.
equation.
Can you shut up,
Solve
you
for
lying
X, get the
scum?
equation.
What
Yeah.
you were asked to
Stop
cite is
lying.
not
It's
on
right there
this.
in black and
Shut
white.
up. Shut your lying mouth. What you were specifically asked to cite is not on this citation. Not even a citation. It's a bloody chart that's got a load of numbers on it so he can what? Bamboozle us with the thing that hasn't got the very specific thing we're arguing about? He's got 1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. I ask him, is this going to have that on there as the citation for where it comes from? Yes is the answer. No, it isn't! You liar! MANUFACTOTUM! You have lied to us!
Brian's actually pointed this out before, how like
Eli, shut up. Eli, shut up. Is your name MANUFACTOTUM? Love a fuck.
Totally.
Go on mute. You lied to us. I was very specific about what I was asking you to cite. Wasn't I?
Apparently not.
Oh, really? So I'll trim it out of the recording with your lying bastard words right next to you affirming that what I asked you for specifically? No, liar. I asked,
Well,
it was
before you
clear,
have a heart attack.
and you are now yammering through me now you're off mute. It's not on there anywhere at all. You're a liar. This isn't what you were asked for. You're a liar.
It's simple maths. It's the equation.
Don't
Gets you
want the
every
maths.
single one of those numbers
Don't
on there.
want simple maths. It's not on there. There is no simple maths that says 1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. That is not on there anywhere. And his answer is, it's simple maths. It's not in the citation you were asked for, you lying scum.
Nathan, he just said it's simple maths. Earlier on, he said he didn't know what it was. He didn't know how it was derived. Now he's saying it's simple maths. Earlier on, he couldn't tell me what the 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters was referring to.
Yeah. And then he said he could get a citation. Then he said he could get a citation for it. And this is what we've got. And it absolutely in no way even suggests it. And now he's chanting through it. And when I put that to him, he says it's simple maths.
It does.
Rather than, no, I understand that this doesn't have what I've said it will have in it. And now it's constant chanting. Every time he's taken off mute, he's blabbering through everything we say so he doesn't have to listen to it. He's a lying scumbag. This isn't what he was asked for in any way, shape, or form, making him a liar.
Typically.
Yeah, every single number on that chart is derived by that equation.
Where did the equation come from? Because that's what we asked you to cite. You stupid man. Now pay close attention this time. You're being asked for the citation that shows where that is derived. It's been put to you about 10 times. And this is what we got as a result of asking for it to be cited. And it isn't on there. No, he's have to be served. He's so intolerable. I'm sick of this.
Yeah, he's serving muted, but I just wanted to say, yeah, MANUFACTOTUM, you've given it with the completed equations, making the statement those equations are derived from this 1.75 meters, yeah. But have you got something that actually states that other than your assertion?
No. Don't go down the wrong road. What he needs to do is detail what the 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters is referring to. I asked him earlier, is that a distance? And he said no. It's recorded. No, that he said no. Well, I asked him was it a distance. He said no first. Then he tried to claim it was an angle and a few other nonsense. But the point is, he said no.
Yeah, and he's become unreasonable and intolerable, so we can't communicate with him anymore. The second he comes off mute, he'll start yammering through the top of something that he's had put to him, so he doesn't have to respond to it. He's presumably talking now on server mute by one of the server operators. There's no communicating with him anymore, Brian. It's reached the point of his loss, so he's causing absolute chaos whenever he comes off server mute, or non-sequituring his way away from the point that he's just had. For example, this isn't the citation that shows where you got your 1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in meters from, as you were asked. Response, it's just maths. Yeah? We're dealing with total
Brian.
assholes.
That's what I was just trying to clarify was a citation, Brian. I thought we were on that, so yeah, apologise for that if I took it off your topic.
Oh, no, it's okay, AJ. I'm just trying to point out something here. What he needs to do, when he said it's just 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. What he's actually claiming there is a mathematical distance to a mathematical globe horizon, right? And that's what he tried to walk straight past everyone with, and that's what infuriated me. I'm sorry if I insulted people or annoyed people, but it infuriates me when you leave these people just walk straight past. He literally added in his globe mathematically, right? And here we are, and he can't support it. He can't support even the distance as a globe distance. Never mind that, but he is claiming a distance. He is claiming a mathematical distance to a mathematical horizon.
Right.
Can you measure the distance to the horizon? No, it can't be measured. You have a better chance of winning a rainbow.
He's happy to lie. When we asked him to actually cite it, he gave us this and just lied, pretending that it was what he was being asked for.
I think he needs to find a long curving pier, and when he gets to the end of it, jump off of it.
It's just dealing with scumbags. You know, you ask them to cite something, they give you something that isn't what they've claimed, so they can deceive you into believing that they've got a citation for it. I mean, it's really specific what we've been debating about. So when we ask for it to be cited, the specific thing we're asking about, the 1.7 bit, and it's not there, it's like, you are a total scum. You're just a deceiver.
This is quite typical.
What's that, MANUFACTOTUM?
That's not what I was asked for. I was asked for whether that was the actual dip correction formula. That's what I provided. The fact of the 1.76, I still
you're a liar.
You're a liar. No, you're a MANUFACTOTUM. Now you're an outright liar. Do you want to just take him off server, Defin, for a second? This show is recorded, MANUFACTOTUM. That was your response last time, so rinse and repeat that for a second attempt. It's recorded.
Play back
just trying to point out while you yammer through me, because you've been talking the entire time. I'm putting this to you. Yeah, you're still talking. You're not listening anymore. Become intolerable.
You're lying.
No, it was put to you. It's recorded.
Yes, it's recorded. Find it. Play back the tape.
It will be. I'll edit it together with your lying scumbag words while you tell me that I'm lying, and then it gets played back. I'll maybe repeat it 16 times so we know absolutely that there's only one lying scumbag here that you were specifically asked. What was the phraseology that you asked him 14 times, Brian? What was the very specific thing where it was referenced?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters referring to?
Yeah. Furthermore, I even
that,
went
you
to the
asked
effort,
me for that
Manufactorum.
formula.
I'm still clarifying this. It wasn't an invite for you to talk. You've said I'm a liar. Now I'm clarifying I'm not.
Lying, you mean?
Now you're still going to yammer, Manufactorum. We even went through quite specifically with a bit of argy-bargy about the feet and
Totem.
meters.
Manufactotum.
It seems
Say
to
it
you
right.
just intolerable. You're no longer tolerated, Manufactorum. If you do it again, I can't communicate with you. Yeah, we went through the argy-bargy clarifying, and there it is again. The start of my clarification starts with him talking. So this is the only way you can get a victory, is it, you abject coward? By yammering through the positions being put to you? Total coward. I'll try that for a fifth time. We had a little. So as soon as I suggest that I'm going to start, he immediately starts talking again. Sixth time.
Jesus.
Okay, we'll keep counting off and pointing out the cowardice that's taking place as we clarify that, which is absolutely not a lie and absolutely was clarified in terms of what he was being asked for. That's the 1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, or is it meters? Oh yeah, we had to really specifically drill that down several times because we were clarifying what you were being asked for. But apparently we're liars, and when you weren't being asked for that, and we need to go and dig out the recording because we're liars. No, I'm now clarifying. Hopefully I'll get to the end once. It's been the 6th attempt, no less, with this lying scumbag projecting his lies onto me. Because he lied. We did ask him what he was going to get, and then he provided this. Scumbag lies that absolutely didn't have what we asked him for 6 times. Brian clarified, and we debated about whether it was feet or meters that it would be looking for. With the 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in degrees. I mean, feet or meters. I mean, obviously it didn't get clarified. We're liars. No, Manufactorum. You are a liar. The citation you gave us that didn't include what you were specifically asked for proves you are a lying glurf.
But just clarify, you're actually speaking to Manufactotum. Manufactorum is a different dude who's next to him.
Manufactorum. My bad.
No, Manufactotum.
Manufactotum. Either way.
What he's attempting to do, this is why he didn't want to answer what the 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters were.
I didn't know. I said that at the start.
What he's attempting to do, well, he's over talking me now because I'm going to out him. What he's attempting to do is infer a mathematical distance to a mathematical horizon and then pre-assume that that's on a globe. Right? That was what he was trying to get past everyone earlier. Right? And I know that it is a calculated distance to a calculated horizon, but that calculated distance is a horizontal, not an arc. And the correction proved that. That's why when I asked Manufactorum for what's 35 feet, what's the correction for 35 feet? Right? Because I know, and then I don't see 35 feet. What about 50? I don't see it, yet they're on the chart. Because I know that the corrections on that chart do not match a globe of radius 3959 miles, or the dip, or a person's eye to their globe's geometric edge. It never doesn't match the globe at all. It matches flat plane.
I was trying to accent that point, but I was trying to accent that point by saying that actually you've always pointed that out. But Nathan was like, "Shut up!"
Yeah, Nathan's been telling you to shut up. That's wrong, Nathan.
Yeah, okay.
1 second.
Well, I'm a fifth wheel now.
Brian's got a conclusion to make. Yeah, it's taken him about 20 minutes. Let him make his victory dance. This is his moment.
The point being is that, I'm sorry, Eli, I just give me a moment. The point being is that he claimed that the horizontal was not the surface of the earth. Right? Now, I could debunk him with the almanac, which I will in a moment. But he claimed it's not the surface of the earth. He said it's just the horizontal, right? What he was inferring was that the actual measured distance is over an arc length, right? I was wanting to bring him right through the corrections to show that those corrections only match a horizontal plane. That the height of height correction that's made at sea after you've measured it at port, those corrections are corrections from mean sea level treated as a horizontal plane. Right? He tried to infer a globe that he can't infer, because this comes from him denying that when that in celestial navigation they're referring to the surface of the earth when they're referring to the horizontal. Now, here is the absolute coup de grace. In the site reduction tables in the Nautical Almanac, site reduction tables correct elevation angles for accuracy, right? The mean sea level is pre-assumed to be the baseline, that's the adjacent, the horizontal, of all of your elevation angles. So yes, the horizontal is the surface of Earth. You are debunked.
That's incorrect.
That is not incorrect. That is 100% correct. Did I hear 10th laugh?
Sorry, he didn't know where it came from 5 minutes ago. Now he's telling you you're incorrect, even though literally 5 minutes ago he was yammering through the top. I said I didn't know.
Yeah, pick any height.
Shut up
on
then. Hold on, Brian. Let me just tear a strip off him. You confessed you don't know. Brian does. You're telling him he's incorrect. How the hell would you know? How the hell would you know? You just confessed to not knowing where it came from. Brian does. If you don't, how the hell would you know if he's right or wrong? You didn't know where it came from. So Brian does.
Because you're mixing up the...
Don't tell him he's wrong. You didn't know where it came from.
The 1.76, not the formula itself.
But the one you cited, this crap here that hasn't got that written anywhere, when you lied about this containing that very specific thing, when you lied about this shit on screen, when you lied about this having that in it. It seems like you're going to yammer through me pointing out that this shit on screen that this arsehole cited, and is now chanting through me pointing out to my audience, doesn't have that equation on it anywhere. It doesn't have it on it anywhere. That's not a lie. It's a fact.
Have it in it, all through it.
It's not on there. Fact. You liar.
It's in there.
Oh, really? Show me where.
What's 1.76 times the square root of 1?
Scumbag was asked to get it, cite it where it came from, where it's referenced, detailed whether it was feet or meters, to be specific about what he was getting. Then we got this. This isn't that. Making you a liar.
What you're looking at.
I'm the liar. I'm the liar while you chant through me pointing out that this hasn't got it in there anywhere. And only the last 2 minutes you said it's
you're the liar.
No, I'm not.
You're just stupid. I'm not
sure. You said this was a citation. Projecting your own lies onto me won't work here.
But I suspect liar instead of stupid.
Sorry, liar. I've said this isn't in there. The 1.7 times the square root of the observer site in meters is not in there. That's a fact.
In there. It's not on there, but it's certainly in there.
You're a liar. Oh, well, prove me a liar by showing me where it is in there.
Yeah. The first entry. 1 meter, 1.8. Let's round it up from 1.76.
1.7 times the square root of the observer site in meters, then, is it? Hello?
Round it up from 1.76.
Sorry, I need to do something to it to make this a citation to prove where it came from. I need to make an alteration to the maths that doesn't say that. No, that just makes you a demonstrable scumbag liar that's been asked to cite something and gave us this crap.
Just make me better at maths.
Yeah, I was going to hand over to you. Go ahead, Brian.
Let me ask him a question. 0.105 degrees. What is that in minutes and seconds?
Sorry, say that again? Not point?
0.105. 105. 0.105. What is that in minutes and seconds?
Hold on, let me find it again. It's way up there. Jesus, that was a while ago. Hang on.
Anyone else that wants to answer?
Okay,
I just
This is altitude correction.
Sorry, I found it.
Then it's got degrees. 10 to 90 degrees. So what it's talking about is angular measurements, which is with respect to the flat baseline for the GPs. It does give us enough information to say, well, if we're dealing with angles, when Brian constantly pointed out that 1.7 times the square root of the observer site in meters isn't angles, it's not a degrees to minus from. And then right at the top of this, it says altitude correction tables 10 to 90 degrees, which are angles. So when I asked him where he gets the 1.7 times the square root of the observer site in meters from, he says this, right at the top, it's got a very specific reference to degrees, not 1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. Now he says it's just the maths. Last time I put this to him, I say, no, you're just a scumbag glurf liar who says that you're going to cite what you're providing for backing of your claim, and it isn't that. It doesn't have it in there anywhere. It doesn't talk about it. Talk about where it originated. Talk about how it worked. It's not in there anywhere. But what he thought, by just giving us a shit ton of numbers, that we wouldn't notice that it didn't in any way tally with what he was asked for, making him a glurf liar. Answer from him: no, you're the liar. No, you're the liar. No, you are a glurf liar.
That's not what I was asked.
7 times the square root of the observer's height in meters, and it making you a glurf liar that's going to interrupt the conclusion for the 17th time. Glurf liar. It's not in there. Not what you were asked for. Glurf liar. Meanwhile, Brian knows exactly what he's talking about, can cite everything he details. While he was detailing it, you saw fit to interrupt him to tell him that you didn't know where it came from, even though you cited this. Yeah, that's
the one number in the formula.
Glurf scum is the conclusion, not your invitation to yammer through me. Glurf scum is a conclusion,
exactly what I'm saying,
not an invitation. Me pointing out to my audience has had to result in me closing the Discord line while I highlight the end of the conclusion. Glurf scum liar is
running away again?
Glurf scum liar for the 5th time is not an invitation for the glurf scum liar to take away that fact as I conclude it. He is a glurf scum liar. What is on screen 7th time. What is on screen proves that fact that he is a glurf scum liar.
Let me add to that, Nathan. Dip from 35 foot above the sea to a globe's geometric edge is 6.3 minutes. Dip in the almanac for 35 feet is 5.6 minutes. Matching a horizontal plane, if you understand the geometry, and not a globe.
Yeah, so you're saying if you calculate it for the arc length, it's increased, whereas if you actually calculate it across a horizontal plane, it matches the distance in these measurements that absolutely, without question, are not any suggestion of 1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in meters, because it doesn't say it anywhere. But what it does do is match up with a horizontal plane that you've just detailed, because you do know where these measurements come from, unlike the glurf scum liar that saw fit to tell you he didn't know where they came from, and then tell you that you were wrong.
Horizontal plane doesn't require a square root function.
On there, it's not on this. It's on screen for my audience. They can see that it's not on there, so I don't really know why we're discussing it when we asked you to back it by citation, and this is what we got.
Earlier on, he didn't know what the square root function was referring to when I asked him. He didn't know what the square root function was referring to when I asked him 10 times.
Yeah, but he still saw fit to tell you that you were wrong after you gave a detailed explanation of exactly what it was. You're wrong, and now he's yammering for me highlighting that fact that Brian
got it wrong.
Stuff. You, when asked to cite where you get your 1.7 from, gave us what's on screen now that doesn't have it in there at all, making you a glurf scum liar.
Not what I was asked when I posted that.
Oh, really? So when I trim it out with it being repeated 7 times and us clarifying that it's definitely not meters, it's actually feet. No, it's definitely feet and not meters. That wasn't you being asked very specifically with detail being given to what you were being asked for. That's us lying, correct?
Correct. I was asked for the use of the formula as a
you were asked for that specifically about 17
specifically that was earlier in the conversation.
Which doesn't have that in there, making you a glurf scum liar.
I was asked for the use of the formula as a dip correction, not specifically 1.76 when I posted that. You just don't remember, or you're lying.
1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. You were asked where that was referenced, and then we had a little argy-bargy about whether it was feet or meters to make absolutely clear what you were being asked for. Then you gave us this, which is on screen, which doesn't have it in, making you a glurf scum liar.
You missed a step. You asked me for something very different when I posted that.
The main problem here is that he claimed earlier on that the horizontal was being used to take an elevation angle above, right, is not the Earth. I just showed that it is. The corrections in the almanac is a horizontal plane and not a globe of radius 3959 miles. Because a 35 foot
plane wouldn't need a square root.
A 35 foot height above a globe of radius 3959 miles gives you a dip to their geometric edge of 6.3 minutes. Whereas the almanac for 35 feet of correction is 5.6 minutes. So not matching a globe, matching a horizontal plane. The horizontal plane that you agreed to earlier is the surface of Earth.
You wouldn't need a square root function if it was a horizontal plane.
Where's that
It would be a
cited?
straight
Sorry, maybe we weren't asking for this, but where's that cited, pray tell? Is it on this crap on screen? I mean, maybe we weren't being really hyper-specific when we asked for this that you're now talking about to be cited or anything. We got this last time we asked for it to be cited, and you told us that we didn't ask you and we were liars. So I'll ask you now. Could you cite that?
It's basic maths.
That's what I got last time when you provided this on screen for my audience, making you a glurf scum liar. You said it's just maths. Last time I asked.
Yeah.
Then you
If
called
you
us
go
liars
high-
and said we didn't ask for it. Even though you told us it's just maths, even though you hadn't been asked for it because we're liars, but it's just maths, even though we weren't asking for it. I see. It wasn't clear. We are liars. You weren't being asked for the thing you answered with it's just maths after giving us this. I understand. No, actually, you're a glurf scum liar who was asked to cite the very thing you're now going to go into again and haven't. We got this on screen. Glurf scum liar.
The use of the dip correction using a square root function?
Could you cite that? Could you cite the 1.7 times square? The thing you said you didn't know where it came from? The thing we were really clear about asking you to cite? The thing that you gave us this last time you asked for it and then called us liars for? Could you give us that citation? We don't want this. I'll take this off screen. It doesn't reference it anywhere, but you're now appealing to it again. I mean, you hoped that this would get you around that and you would be allowed to keep appealing to it because you'd given us this. This doesn't have it in anywhere, you glurf scum liar. So can you cite something that does? Now that we're clear what I'm asking for, you thought I was lying. No, I've been very clear and I'm being clear now. I don't want to be called a liar in the future. Can you cite, rather than chanting through me asking for it? Oh, maybe this is obviously why the clarity didn't come. The glurf scum liar was talking when he was being asked. Let's just try that again. Oh, what did I just ask for?
I heard what you're asking. What I'm finally figured out is that you're asking for one thing when I provided
what I'm
you
figuring out isn't what I asked for. Want to stutter a bit more? What did
when
I ask
provide something that shows a square root function, then you say, no, but we asked for the 1.76. Right? When, again, I said I don't know exactly
so we're clear that last time I asked, so we're clear.
and then you call me a liar.
So we're clear. So we're clear. Last time I asked for something with the square root function. We're clear that that's what I asked for last time then.
Okay, so I wasn't lying then. That's what I provided.
We're clear that that's what was asked for last time then, yes?
Oh, there you go. Good.
No, there you go. Is that a yes? Everyone in Discord, you're ruining this. Mute.
Yes. So you lied when you said what I was asked for was 1.76, right? That was a lie.
Is it clear?
Yes.
I was just going to obfuscate Discord. Let's try that again. Nice and slow without you yammering through it because it's painful, you little coward, lying glurf bitch. So we're clear. We're asking you for something that references the square root function like we did last time.
References? No. You said suggest. That's what I provided.
Brian, did you say the word suggest? We're just clear that, sorry, liar. We're just
Nathan,
liar.
Nathan, you said
liar.
suggest.
No, we're calling
Not
you
Brian,
out.
you said.
No, he's not going to tolerate. He just wants to lie and carry on talking. Brian.
Don't pass the buck. You said suggest, Nathan,
Brian?
not Brian. You said suggest.
Yeah, I asked him specifically, what does the 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters reference?
Liar! Liar! You didn't ask him that 17 times. You liar, Brian.
No,
you lie. You actually asked him for sight reduction tables.
You asked me.
It wasn't
something
made clear
different.
what you were
Brian is not the liar here. You are, Nathan. You're a fat liar.
No, mate, you're a glurf liar.
You're a liar. When I asked him, is that referencing a distance?
Grandmaster.
No. He said no. It's recorded, Nathan. And what he's then said a few minutes ago. The square root of the observer's height in feet. That has nothing to do with a flat plane. That can only be a globe. Earlier on, he didn't know what it was for, supposedly. And can you ask me a question?
No.
Can you answer me a question? How did you determine that the square root of the observer's height in meters? How did you determine that only is reference to a sphere?
So as you go up higher, your angle to a flat plane will be trigonometric. Whereas if you go up higher on a sphere, that angle to the edge of the sphere will not be trigonometric, it will be parabolic.
That's fascinating.
Basic geometry.
So hang on, Nathan. Hang on, I have him. Hang on, it's over. Great. So that means that the dip for 35 feet in the dip chart from the almanac, that'll match the dip to a globe of radius 3959 miles then.
Yeah, it should. Close at least.
No, the dip from 25 feet to a globe's geometric edge is 6.3 minutes. The dip to
where are you getting that?
The horizontal plane is 5.6 for 35 feet. You're debunked.
35 feet is not in the chart that I posted. Where are you getting this number?
It is. 35 feet is in the chart that you posted. 50 feet is in the chart that you posted. That's a complete lie. Or that you didn't look at it.
He didn't look at it. He posted it
It's
as a
debunked.
reference for where he got the 1.7 times the square root of the observer's height in meters from, even though it doesn't contain that anywhere. He then called us liars, and only moments earlier has clarified that this time and last time when he called us liars, we were asking for the square root function. That, as I say, isn't on this site reduction tables anywhere, making him a glurf, scum, liar.
Sorry. Okay, I see it now. I see it. Fair enough.
Yeah,
what?
And it doesn't matter.
What?
The 35 feet. I see where it says the 35 feet.
No oil height correction from the almanac matches your globe's geometric edge. Matches your globe in any way. Give me a try and add in 7/6R, it doesn't match. Nothing matches it.
Sorry, if you do the 1 point...
So the square root of the observer's height in feet, so that is specific to a sphere. Because that is, I can use that calculation and get the corrections that will match the almanac but won't match your globe.
Sorry, you're saying that that's not 1 point... What is it in feet?
I'm saying that the almanac is in opposition to your globe, and I'm not just saying it.
I understand what you're saying.
We need to use a different height. 35 feet, not enough. What height do you want me to use? In feet. We'll do it in feet.
No. I only know in meters. So 35 feet, that's 10 meters, right? Right next to it?
You give me a height in feet.
25.
No, 25. Okay, 1 second. 25. 1 second. So on the almanac, 25 feet is around 7.5. I think it's 7. Let's see. Where are we? Sorry. No, sorry. 25 feet is 4.5 meters. I think 4.8. Right. So 25 feet. So let's go to the Metabunk, and we'll see what they say for 25 feet. Second now. Give me a minute. Okay, 2, 5, right? And it's 0. Let's say geometric dip for 0.089. We go to the decimal degree calculator. Okay, so 0.089. Calculate. 1 second now. Right. And it is 5.34 minutes, not 4.8. The globe fails again.
No. 4.8 is correct. If you look across the way, it's meters, right?
Let's do 50 feet. Okay, let's do 50 feet.
Meters. What are you talking about? It's right. 4.8199. You just posted it. It's exactly the formula I gave you.
50 feet. So 50 feet is 0.125 degrees. Let's just change that to minutes and seconds. Right, so 0.125, calculate, into minutes and seconds is 7.5 minutes, right? Let's go to the almanac chart. 1 second now, for 50 feet. Okay, it's 6.9. Not matching your globe again.
What are you talking about with the Metabunk?
It keeps
I'm
not
talking about the
matching your
formula
globe.
I gave you. It is.
Talking about it not matching your globe. When I use the nautical almanac chart that you presented, it doesn't match your globe.
What are you looking at on Metabunk? Because I don't think you're doing that right.
I'm getting the dip angle from the eye height to the geometric edge. That's what I'm getting from Metabunk. I'm then converting that from decimals into minutes and seconds. I'm then comparing those minutes and seconds for the globe with the almanac, and they're failing every time. And they will always fail because the almanac is not referencing a globe at all.
Well, it's referencing the globe and the square root function, and that square root
Where's
function
that?
with
Where's that,
everything
you
you've
lying
given so
scumbag
far.
blurf? Where's that on it? I've got it on screen. Point to it, please. Where is it?
It's in the measurements that I'm calculating
Wait,
on the
where is it?
spot.
It's not on there.
And
It's not on there.
they are exactly what you get in that calculation.
Right, what we get in a
Exactly.
calculation? Show me that calculation on this that you posted to cite that.
Sure. I did the first one already for
No, not
35
what you
feet. It
can
says
do.
math.
No. Just point at it on what line number so I can read it out for my audience. Does it talk about the square root function in this that you gave us as your citation? Where's that square root function so I can read it out? Give me a line number.
No. I didn't say it talks about it. I said it
Oh, it's
uses
not
it.
on there. You're just a lying scumbag
in there.
blurf that keeps appealing to this square root function that is in no way been cited by you.
Listen better. That's not what I said.
No, I asked you to cite it. We made clear what we were looking for. You called us a liar, even though we clarified it on multiple occasions. This is what you gave us. It doesn't have any square root function mentioned in it. You keep telling us that that's the maths it's based on. Brian's just shown you it isn't. It doesn't match the globe.
I just showed you that it is.
It doesn't match the globe.
35
And
feet
there is no
and
square
50
root
feet.
function in what you have cited. It doesn't match the globe. Brian's just taken you through it. You've said, oh, what's this metabunk? You must be doing that wrong. Something else. You don't even know what he's referencing, but you're telling him he's doing it wrong there.
Look, 1 second.
I'm using the formula and it works out perfectly.
I'm going to go through it. 1 second. We're going to go through it. Your claim. So the square root of 4.7 meters is 2.1679. Right? Now we'll multiply that by 1.76 equals 3.81. Right?
I'll take your word for it.
Right. So where do we go from there then?
And that should match what they give you as the angle, as the dip correction.
Okay, let's go to Metabunk, 4.7 meters. We'll go to meters. 1 second now. We'll get to the bottom of this, don't worry. Give me a second to get Google back up.
I don't know what you're using Metabunk for.
Because that has your maths in it.
This has
Why
the
would I
maths.
not be using Metabunk? Why would I not be using Metabunk when that is your maths? So we're going to go
don't know what
to
you're
1
using it
second now.
for. I don't know what this operation is.
We heard that, and he told you the answer. So maybe if you constantly ask him what he's using it for when he's just bleeding told you, maybe that'll distract from what he's doing. Yeah, we got it, Dumbo. You don't understand what he's using Metabunk for. Okay, yeah, you're thick. Because he just told you he's getting the Earth curve maths from it, because it's your Earth curve maths. So he's told you what he's using it for and why he's using it. So I don't want to hear again that you're too dumb to understand why he's using it. Shut up.
Okay, 1 second. So for 4.7 meters, the geometric dip, or the dip to their geometric edge on a globe of radius 3959 miles is 0.070. Let's go to the decimal degrees, 0.070. We'll go through that. We'll go back then and compare. So clear. So 1 second. 0.070. Calculate. Right. So that is 4.2 minutes. Right. So let's go back to the almanac chart that was presented by this man. Okay. So meters 4.7. Right. Meters 4.7. No, it doesn't have.
Sorry, why did you put that in minutes?
Sorry, it does have 4.7. Right, 4.7. So 1 second now.
It's a degree to dip angle correction. Are you having us on? Just that's why you're giving it him in minutes. My God, you are so stupid.
Well, why he's converting it?
We're talking about an angle correction.
Yeah, for his globe's geometric edge, the dip to that edge is 4.2 minutes. For 4.7 meters. In the almanac, it is let's see, 3.8 to 3.9 minutes. So the globe fails again.
Hi, you really have no part in this conversation anymore. I don't know why I'm getting so het up with you. You know, but the last question just demonstrated beyond all doubt that you have no place in this discussion.
I'm just applying the straight correction. I'm getting the exact answers that the almanac
You're
says.
going to rinse and repeat a positive
Nathan, I already
claim,
showed him
me
how
pointing out that you've got no place in this conversation. You think that's your opportunity to rinse and repeat your claim, right?
Let me give the coup de grace, Nathan. I used the maths he gave. See, I know those maths. The maths he gave a calculation of 3.81 minutes, which matches the almanac, but it doesn't match his globe. So the calculation matches the almanac, but it won't match his globe.
I can see what you're doing.
Yeah,
or can someone post it?
I just use your maths. I use your maths for 4.7
I understand what you're saying you're doing.
And that's the correction. Well, not your maths, but the maths you gave. I know the maths. You gave 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. I used 4.7 meters. The correction is 3.81 minutes, matching the almanac.
Right.
But for your globe, it's 4.2 to 4.3 minutes.
Okay.
Not matching your globe.
Can you post that?
Not matching your globe.
So I can see what you did.
You don't have to. You're supposed to know these things. You were the
I'm
one
just
making the
asking you
claim.
to show your work so I can follow along and see if what you're saying is.
Anyone can hear this and go, you pick a height then. Pick a height. That's on the Nordic Almanac chart. And we'll go through all the details and you can do it side by side with me.
Okay, on my phone, can you post what you're doing in like the chat or something, in the Discord
It's
chat?
the second time he's talking to a guy who's obviously mentally handicapped, because he's just said, I'll talk you through it step by step. And the question he was asked was, just give me a height so we can walk you through it step by step. Response, can you just send me on my phone? It's like you can't comprehend friggin' English.
Because we've already done it with the height.
You are intolerable as a person to communicate with. Yeah, you see someone's middle of their sentence as an invitation to start you talking like you're doing now, making you basically intolerable to communicate with. When someone suggests how they can give you what you want to know how it's done. All right, Brian says, I'll talk you through it step by step. Just give me a height. And you send it me on my phone. It's like you're incapable of understanding bleeding English, making you a useless prick. I can't communicate with you, mate.
Is it possible, or I don't know, I can't remember your name. Is it possible that you were led to believe that those matched? Is it possible that you were led to believe that the match you gave me matched your globe? Is it possible you were led to believe that? As a matter of fact, they don't match it at all.
I'd be very surprised if that was the case.
Well, I've just proven that it's the case. I've proven it over and over and over. You're asking me why I'm going to bed.
Not yet, you have.
Metabunk is your maths. Metabunk gives all the maths for your globe. All the maths you need for your globe are in Metabunk. They are the maths.
Can you show that to me?
Well, you need to see. I need to show what?
He's asking you to provide him citations for his globe claim. Unreal.
Yeah, from globe maths.
Hey, Nathan, stop fucking lying. That's not what I asked.
Oh, really? You need to swear at me, do you, little bitch? Oh, really? Lying, am I? No, mate.
You always get it wrong.
You'd be shocked to hear it, but it'd be you that would be citing shit about the globe, not Brian.
I think the Brian
do you
is
want him
actually
to go
being
off and get you Metabunk for you and your globe claim, do you there? Go on, swear at me.
Already did it. I'm just asking for like a screenshot.
You little bitch. Because you're losing badly. Yeah, we've proven you're a lying glurf bitch. And now you need to demonstrate your frustration by swearing at me, don't you? Go ahead. Just demonstrate to my audience how badly you've lost.
Speak for me.
Tell me your name. My name is Sam Park, and my brand name is John.
Unmute the white knight that's joined just to cause audio chaos, please.
My brand name.
That's actually him, I think.
My brand name is Jay.
That's actually him there himself.
No, it's not. Brian, thank you. I'm running the show.
The main thing here, Nathan, is that he proved that the horizontal line is the surface of Earth. He proved that.
No, I proved that it requires a square root function.
Nobody asked you.
Different square root function.
Precise summary was not your invitation to talk, Mr. I don't understand bleeding English and think that being asked for a height means you're asked to send an app, or Mr. I'm claiming a globe, can you please send me evidence of my globe maths? because it's obviously your duty to send me my claim and then call me a fucking liar. No, Glurf scum. This wasn't an invitation to talk through me either. Yeah?
Let that
Just
happen.
showing the audience how badly you've lost. That's all you're doing.
Lying
Go ahead,
again.
Brian. It's okay, Glurf scum liar. We weren't asking you for anything. Brian's not your name.
Yeah. Earlier on, Nathan, when you were debating with him, he was denying that he didn't deny the horizontal, right? That the elevation is taking above. So he didn't deny that you need the 90s, and he didn't deny that there's horizontal distance being measured between you and the GP point of the celestial body. He just said it wasn't, that horizontal was not the surface of the Earth. He then, when he was asked to, by Quantum Eraser, asked to detail the dip correction, dip detailed from A to Z, the dip correction, he came back with, it's just 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. Right? He then tried to get away with that, right? He wasn't allowed to. And since then, it has been shown that he has proven that it is definitely the horizontal that he agreed to is definitely the surface of Earth, and that the corrections for in the almanac and for dip do not match a globe. They only match a horizontal plane, proving that the Earth is a flat plane and not a globe of radius 5 miles.
Can I ask you a question, Brian? It's Brian, right?
If it's on topic.
Yes, it is. So this thing you're doing with metabunk, are you suggesting that that calculation does not require a square root function?
I'm not saying anything. You said now he's trying to reverse the burden of proof.
Yes.
You claimed that a square root function does not work over a horizontal plane. You said that it only works over a curved surface. Now, it doesn't. I've used the very thing you gave me, and I was able to match it with the almanac that references a horizontal plane. You even said I lied when I brought up that the almanac uses mean sea level as a horizontal for soil reduction corrections. And I used the very calculation you gave me just a few minutes ago and proved that it doesn't match your globe. It matches a horizontal plane.
So what you're doing on metabunk is getting those calculations from a horizontal?
Yeah, it is also, yes. It's called surface level.
Yeah, metabunk. What I'm doing on metabunk is I'm getting the dip that metabunk are claiming for a globe of 3959 miles. If you have, from whatever height, if you have an issue with that, then you need to see at least Mick West. Because that's where your problem lies.
Sure, that's fair enough.
You don't understand the math. You obviously don't understand or disagree with your own maths. I don't know what it is. Your own globe.
Or with metabunk, I'm not sure. I'll look into that. But for now, what I'm saying is, if you're saying that I've proven it works on a horizontal plane, it sounds like you haven't done that if you're using a globe calculation. My suspicion is that metabunk site still uses the square root function.
What globe calculation did I use? Sorry, Nathan, 1 second. What globe calculation did I use?
Stop. What Brian did was compare what you gave by citation that didn't include a squared function to the calculator that does include the squared function. And they don't match. That's what he did.
I did worse than that, Nathan. I used his calculation using the squared function and showed that it matched a horizontal plane. Because he doesn't understand how they're using the squared function within the dip correction. I showed that it matched the almanac, which matches the horizontal plane. The corrections match the horizontal plane. I showed his own, the calculation he gave, the squared function calculation he gave, doesn't match his globe. Now he's asking me how are you telling me the squared functions don't match a globe? I don't give a damn. I've never claimed they did or didn't. He claimed they did, or only match a globe.
No, but you claimed it matches a horizontal plane.
The very function that you gave me to match a horizontal plane, in agreement, absolute total agreement with the almanac, and in disagreement with your globe. What this is that he's looking to get away from the fact that you are looking to move away from the fact that you have been proven outright completely wrong. That's what's going on here.
If you're saying that it completely matches the almanac, the almanac uses a square root function.
To have a different red herring argument about whether square root function can work on a globe or a flat. It doesn't matter. You were wrong.
Absolutely matters.
I know how to use it. I know how to use it. I know how to use that function.
The square root function is absolutely what's in contention.
Use the distance
Square root function means
horizontally.
slope.
The distance that's gained is used horizontally. You don't understand the dip.
It's an angle. It's not a horizontal linear distance.
Sorry. The distance that's gained, right, via the calculation you gave me is used as a horizontal distance in the dip correction.
Not if it's got a square root function, it's not.
You're a bit confused there, Sunshine. You just said that it was an angle.
Yeah,
the 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. Show that as an angle.
Yes.
Just that. Yeah, just that. Go ahead and show it. Put it in chat, and AJ will send it to us. And then while you're at it,
Here it is again.
Still, Alexander the Great's tears out of the Euphrates than to show that you'd fail third grade geometry.
1.2 times the square root, 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters isn't a degree. It's not an angle. He won't post that. He can't post that. It isn't an angle.
3.8.
You can derive an angle. You can derive an angle from it, but it is not an angle.
Right. That's what Kiwi just said. He's just derived it and then given that number.
I mean, I can't go back to like basic math for this conversation.
It must be.
You fell third grade geometry.
Did we go back to basic maths? We went back to basic maths. I used the math, the 1.76 times the square root of the observer's height in meters. I used that with 4.7 meters and showed that it matched the almanac, but it didn't match your globe.
Just out of interest, sorry to put a break. Sorry, just one sec. I just want to ask a clarifying question. What does the correction correct to exactly?
Well, inside reduction tables, they're using the mean sea level as your horizontal plane.
You're correcting to mean sea level with this
Correcting to
correction.
Horizontal, not mean sea level.
You're correcting to horizontal. Hold on, everyone in G+. I didn't quite hear that. Can you say that again?
Yeah. Correcting to horizontal.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Not sea level.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
It's not the Earth.
We're doing a correction to make sure that the distance is going to be corrected to horizontal.
We're right back to the beginning where I said the horizontal reference is not the Earth itself. This is where we started.
We are correcting to it, though.
Yes, to horizontal.
Yes.
At eye level, not
with navigating the Earth, right? We're not suddenly flying around in space. We're still navigating Earth, aren't we?
Seems to be, yes.
Yes. So we're correcting to the horizontal plane that we will be navigating.
No.
No.
The horizontal plane that we're taking the elevation angle from.
Seems like
all we're doing with the horizontal plane is taking an elevation angle.
Are we correcting to a plane in the middle of space to navigate that plane that we're correcting to, that's sea level? We're correcting to that. Yeah.
No, eye level.
And why did you measure the height above the water on the boat in your crow's nest?
To calculate the dip correction.
To surface level.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Yeah, to surface level. Welcome
not
to Flat
surface
Earth.
level, to eye level.
Earth's measured flat, ladies
bringing
and
that
gentlemen.
up.
That's why we do this correction. To correct to surface level.
Nope. Eye level.
Yes. Not just nope. Yes, that is what it's doing. You just told me we correct to the horizontal. I say the one we're navigating.
Yes, eye level.
Nope, we're correcting
not the one we're navigating. The horizontal plane we're taking the elevation angle from. That's the only thing we need that horizontal plane for.
The horizontal plane what? Do you want to say that again?
Yeah, the surface of Earth is not your horizontal reference.
Thank you.
Yes, it is. The corrections do not match your globe. Corrections match our horizontal plane.
Sorry, but not the White Knight. You're saying the corrections aren't to horizontal now, even though you said it was a minute ago.
Yes, they are to horizontal. I'm not saying anything else. I'm saying that horizontal is not the Earth itself.
And are we using that to navigate?
We're using the angle we get from the horizontal.
We're correcting to the horizontal.
The one at eye level, yes.
No. So if we're correcting to eye level, why we're going around in circles, QE? He just asked you this. Why would you take your height of eye then? If we're correcting to eye level. We're not. We're correcting to surface level that we're navigating. But when we get to that point, you want to deny that we're actually using the ground to navigate. It's suddenly a line in space. A bit like what? Spire on a pedestal. No. We're dealing with ground. No. I'm concluding. Obviously, that means you've got to start yammering through the top of the conclusion. No, we're navigating the ground, son. Yeah, definitely the ground that we're navigating.
You just said, wait a second, it's height of eye correction. You're not correcting to the eye. Are you retarded?
If it's a correction,
I can explain
and
it
you're
if you
using
like.
the eye level in the first instance, that can't be the correction to it. It is the thing you're starting with to correct to ground level. I mean, that's obvious. This guy's just retarded. I've said it all along.
No,
You said
completely
it as
wrong
well
what you
3 or
just said,
4
Nate.
times. I have no idea why we're communicating with this guy. Fundamentally, he's got too low of an intelligence level to comprehend what's being put to him. He doesn't cope with it.
You're not
He couldn't
starting
cope
with
with
eye level. That's wrong.
He thought that
That's
meant,
incorrect.
can you send me something on my phone? Because that's what he heard. Literally, the words that we say don't communicate to him in a way that's coherent, so he can't respond to them. Half the time he's yammering through the top or calling us liars for clarifying things that he specifically said and have been recorded. That gets turned around into us being liars. This guy's totally unreasonable.
Don't start with eye level.
MANUFACTOTUM.
That was
MANUFACTOTUM.
You don't start with it. Why would you measure your height then at port?
MANUFACTOTUM.
Because
43 minutes
the angle
after
that is
the
added to the elevation angle from horizontal dips in a way relative to a curved surface. That's why you need the height of eye.
Sorry, dips. He's just said dips are relative to a curved surface.
I can clear this up right now, guys.
We're
MANUFACTOTUM.
correcting to horizontal. But now it's what? Correcting to curve? Is it?
Correcting to horizontal from
That's
curve.
not curve. Horizontal is. Oh God, QE. Horizontal isn't curving.
Nobody said it was.
Yeah, and we're correcting to the horizontal, which means we're not correcting to curve. We're not correcting to a curve.
From curve to horizontal.
We're correcting to the horizontal. By use of the eye level in the
From
first
the
instance,
curve.
we're not correcting to eye level. That's absurd, and we've all laughed at you because it's moronic. We're correcting to the surface level, the one we are navigating. Level isn't curving. We're not correcting to a curved surface.
Correct. You're correcting from the curved surface to a horizontal. At eye level, not sea level.
We're correcting to the horizontal surface, the one we're navigating, not to a curve. Nope, that's right.
Incorrect.
Welcome to
Not
flat
the one we're
Earth.
navigating.
Not correcting to a curved surface, correcting to a horizontal surface.
What if you're on
you have the chance to eye correct.
Can I get an elevation? Can I get an elevation angle of a star while mountain?
MANUFACTOTUM.
The white knight. It was the same white knight as last time, eh, Carly?
that AJ?
Hey, is it painful, Carly? Can you hear your man getting battered?
Guys, in the chat at 43 minutes. Carly. In the chat at 43 minutes past the hour for MANUFACTOTUM from Astrolab Sailing. If you're taking your sextant readings from the bridge of a big ship, then you're going to get a different sextant reading to if you're on a small yacht. Therefore, we need to make a correction to what your sextant says to get your reading converted to sea level reading. This is called dip or an adjustment for your height of eye. So you are adjusting to sea level reading.
Yeah, arguably. I mean, functionally, they're the same.
No, not arguably. Have you got a citation? Have you got anything there to show otherwise?
He's going to completely ruin the audio for this. Yeah,
we're
we're correcting to the horizontal. That's the sea level. It's the surface we're navigating, as we've gone through with him multiple times. We're not correcting to curve. We're using angles and correcting to flat baselines. For dip, it's horizontal. It's not curving. We're not using curved surfaces. Earth is flat. That's how it's being measured, referenced, and corrected to in this instance. To surface level, that's sea level, as cited.
It's in the chat.
Welcome to Flat Earth. You wanted to deny that we were correcting to the surface level, sea level. You said it was correction to eye level. I mean, that just makes you retarded, like really stupid. The audience now knows that's the case. When you said we were correcting to eye level, oh no, another Dumbo glurf in the house, it seems. Yeah, you've just had the citation absolutely shit all over that.
An elevation
So no,
angle to a
Dumbo,
star while I'm on
you
a
don't
mountain.
seem to have a place at this table anymore, Dumbo. You said correcting to eye level. No, definitely not. Just another moronic statement from a glurf liar.
Oh.
Come on, let's talk about it.
Yes, you said correcting to eye level. Maybe you'd like to call me a liar when I specifically detail that which you told us we were doing. Correcting to eye level, you say. Maybe you'd like to call me a liar.
Yeah, a level reference is not the surface of the ground. It's just not.
Even though that's what it very specifically detailed in that citation that AJ, the moderator of this server, just read out to you. Nothing at all. Yeah, you just had a citation read out by AJ. Took a big, fat, giant, steaming shit on your nonsense.
If I want to make
put a citation for AJ, so I had people here.
Nothing to do with the ground.
Carly's decided to add to the audio chaos. I don't mind if one of his white knights wants
to add to the audio chaos. It doesn't have to be chaos. Just listen
right, Carly? Yeah, you can hear how badly he's being smashed and you can't bear it. Got to come off mute and add fuel to the fire. No, he's getting his bum smacked, Carly. Yeah, because we are correcting to surface level as per that citation read out by the server's moderator. It wasn't to eye level like this Dumbo MANUFACTOTUM said. He's just wrong and stupid.
You got my name right.
You can chill out while I put this to the server. I mean, obviously, at the moment, I'm only getting to put this to my audience and not the server because you keep rumpusing me. But he's having his bum smacked because he's not correcting to his eye level, Carly. He's correcting to surface level as per the citation. The Discord server can't aim me pointing it out for the 5th time.
You don't have to point it out 5 times. Just let me respond. If I'm standing on top of a mountain, clearly the surface of the ground is not horizontal. So I'm not treating the ground as a horizontal reference. If I'm getting a level reference on
the crow's nest. Do we get our heights to crow's nest for dip correction when we're up mountains? Is there a crow's nest up this mountain, you stupid clown? Because it seems like that was a bit of an obfuscation tactic to talk about something completely different. Like we're not dealing with mariner sextants and dip corrections because we're not able to just use a bubble up a mountain. We're out on a boat rocking around all over the place. That's why we're having to use the horizon and correct for it, Carly. But what, you thought we were somehow up a mountain when this guy gets his ass smacked? Saying we correct to eye level? You thought we needed to talk about mountains, did you there, White Knight? No, MANUFACTOTUM was just wrong and stupid. Said we were correcting to eye level. Yeah, maybe you could chant through it for me also, MANUFACTOTUM. No, you just had it cited. It would be better if the actual citation was ignored entirely when he interrupted proceedings to point out how bleeding wrong you were when you said we correct to eye level, because he just cited it. It very specifically said sea level. That's not eye level, Dumbo. You were just wrong and stupid and needed a white knight, Carly, to help you out there, didn't you? I'm still going to smack your butt and point out how wrong you are. You're still going to chant through it because you're an intolerant little toddler throwing his dummy out of the pram while he gets told off. No, you were wrong. We don't correct to eye level, MANUFACTOTUM. You are stupid.
Did you see my citation?
It's horizontal.
Yeah, you want to make the line of sight left.
It isn't eye level. That's the surface, sea level, and it is horizontal. So we've got a horizontal sea level that we correct to, a flat earth. Proof.
Prove it. That's not a proof. That's a claim.
No, it's how it's done. That's how we correct. You said we corrected to eye level and were wrong. And AJ, the moderator of this server, had to go and correct you with a citation. I told you it was to surface level. Sea level. No, it's not a claim. No, it's how it's actually done. It's not just me saying it. It's been cited to you.
You're just swapping.
I'm guessing you've never done this in your life.
Look at that. I mean, you cited it and calculated it, and you guys just
really. Whether or not I've done it will change whether or not we're actually dealing with a horizontal plane that we're correcting to that definitely isn't curved and definitely isn't eye level and definitely isn't up a mountain.
It could be either of those things.
No,
You
it
could
can't. It's
absolutely take a
definitely the
sighting
surface
from an
level
eye.
that's horizontal. That's what we're correcting to as per the citation AJ just gave you. I mean, it could be anything if you just make up crap and insert it like we're correcting to eye level. But then a flat earther, me, Nathan Oakley, comes along, points out how bleeding wrong you are, and then I'm backed up by the server operator who cited something that made absolutely clear how wrong you were, dum-dum.
And I cited one that does show that it's eye level as well. They're functionally
Really?
equivalent.
I only have one citation from you, and it's this.
Well,
I'll
look back
post
in the
it,
chat.
Master B, because one, it's not a citation, MANUFACTOTUM. I don't think you understand what a citation is. You've just given me a picture of a ball or a circle with a line to the center of the earth to a horizontal from someone's eye height, but you'll see that anyway, I'll drop it in Master B and then we can address it. I'm happy to address it.
Fine.
Yeah, your cartoon is stupid and it's not a citation.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
wrong.
yes,
You don't have the center of the ball yet, so you got to dismiss that.
Okay.
Well,
Need
you're
the center of the
incorrect
ball.
anyway,
Come on,
because
guys.
according to Astrolab Sailing, they're using the celestial sphere and the equatorial plane to measure their angles from in celestial navigation.
Okay, this is cool. This has a flat Earth in it. Got actual horizon with a dotted line that's flat.
That's a flat Earth.
Yeah.
But they don't have a horizontal because a horizontal is not a point.
Yeah. Well, but they do in the diagram. It says actual horizon on it. It's a dotted line. Obviously, it's got no reference whatsoever to the sphere below it. But the actual horizon has nothing to do with what they've called horizon. That's below the dotted line that we'll need to reference.
Correct, because it says
below
if I
that are
height
now
is
being
0.
as I summarise with 10 years of experience on this subject. Obviously, me summarising what I've got on screen for an audience that have just been shown needs interruption constantly. It definitely has eye level and actual horizon parallel with one another. So level is level in this, and actual horizon represents surface level, so we can derive a plane with it. It's representative of sea level, also horizontal. So well done. This dangling Earth below it has nothing to do with the actual measurements.
Nathan, I put a couple of recent posts on Master B. Can you go to that?
Yeah. So the one with the angle off a curved surface that doesn't have GP points meeting the curved surface? Yeah.
Well, there's one that's a whole page. If you go to the top right, it shows you that if your height of eye is at sea level, there's no dip correction. And Brian has already said this so many times, when they do site reduction tables, they're taking the elevation angle from sea level. That's the whole purpose of the reduction. If you're from a crow's nest, you got to get at sea level. So that's why they do this exercise, because when they refer to the site reduction tables, as you can see there, height of eye, meters and feet, 0, dip angle, 0.0. If you go to the picture underneath, which I blew up and put separately, it says observer's horizon, shows a right angle, and it shows the geoidal horizon, which is sea level, which they've got a globe surplus to requirement. The nautical almanac and the site reduction tables assume that the sites are taken at sea level. For instance, from a periscope of a submarine barely emerging above the water. If this fella is in the crow's nest, his measurement has to match barely emerging above the water, so he can get a what? A right angle triangle to get the 90 to subtract the co-altitude, which cannot work with that surplus requirement semicircle drawn underneath it. This is all trickery.
And again,
So if you're in the
like
nest,
Nathan
do you
said,
still need a dip correction if you're using a bubble sextant?
hang on, your own citation here that you've provided.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that. You've established the horizontal to get your vertical at 30,000 feet in the air, right? You've established your horizontal, which must match the equatorial plane, which is what? 180 straight angle. That's the true altitude in the nautical almanac books. So You can never put the surplus globe there because everything must match the 180 straight angle at the equatorial plane. And you can't do that with a curving surface.
Sure, honest question. How far are those stars for the angle to be the same at sea level and 35,000 feet?
Don't change the subject.
Hold on, 10th. He just said sure, and he's basically just breezing past it. It's called whistling past the graveyard.
No, I heard what he said. The problem is he's neglecting to consider that those angles of elevation will be the same from 35,000 feet and at sea level. That means the stars are at optical infinity.
Hey, I'm talking.
Welcome to Globe.
Sorry, they're not at an optical infinity on a globe. They're at a set distance that you derive from radial values measured with Polaris. That's how you infer the distances globally. They're not infinitely distant. Did you not believe that? Do you think you got an infinitely distant sun and stars? You don't think they're at set distance in your model derived from flat plane measurements of Polaris? Idiot. Idiot. Globe models got set distances to stars. For example, 96 million miles to a particular star you think the sun is. That's a set distance. You've just said it's infinitely distant, therefore welcome to the globe that has fixed distances. You total clown.
Nathan.
Yeah, we use the opposite ends of the Earth's orbit.
But he just told us, welcome to globe because of infinite distances. Yet globe has set distances, you stupid man.
No.
Not taken off.
Nathan, may I just also clarify something to support what you were stating about his citation? On his citation, it says actual horizon if the eye height is 0, yeah? So from, again, Astrolab sailing, it says the next error to correct for is height of eye. The tables all assume a height of eye of exactly 0 feet. This is because then the horizon is at 90 degrees angle to your zenith.
Thank you. May I finish now? So the maximum nautical mile distance that a mariner can have at sea is 90 times 60, 5,400 nautical miles. Is that infinite distance?
No.
Yeah, goodbye.
Like linear distance.
Crazy talk.
Yeah, meanwhile, the globe has got set distances. He welcomed us to a globe because of his appeal to infinite distances.
You need a globe for those distances. You need a globe for the distance to the sun.
Infinite.
You need a globe for that, mate.
Don't seem to understand the words you're using. Infinite, not set. Your globe has set distances. I gave you an example. Now you're yammering through me with the sun at 96 million miles. That's not an infinite distance. You stupid idiot globe believer who thinks that appealing to an infinite distance is going to help you when your globe has got set distances, and you're going to yammer through my conclusion, aren't you, MANUFACTOTUM? Painful when you're getting bitch slapped. You stupid shit that doesn't prove a globe like infinite distances. That stupid shit you appeal to is absolutely in contravention of your globe. Now, obviously, you feel that yammering through me pointing that out is going to somehow detract from your loss. You just appealed to infinite distances like that was a globe win. I'm going to do it again, MANUFACTOTUM. You've had to be server muted, MANUFACTOTUM, because you can't seem to shut your bleeding mouth while I point out your stupid nonsense that you appealed to with infinite distances. Take him off server mute so the audience can hear how triggered this bitch really is. Yeah? MANUFACTOTUM, is it easier if you chant through me concluding? Is it easier if while you're getting bit you yammer and cry through the top of it? You appeal to an infinite distance, like that was somehow a globe proof. I then gave you an example of a very specific set distance to a star in your model that's derived from flat measurements of Polaris to give you the radial value. I then pointed out that it is absolutely in contravention of your globe assertion. There's one of the examples of him being a triggered bitch, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we'll count them off. We'll count, that's 2. Triggered bitch. We'll keep calling it as well. While I try and summarise for about the 17th time. I'll keep counting them off. That's 2 so far. Triggered bitch interjections, we'll call them. Anyway, you said infinite distances. Welcome to globe. That's 3.
I didn't say infinite distance. I said
4
optical
triggered bitch
infinity.
interjections.
Yeah, for years.
5 triggered bitch interjections. Very triggered bitch today, it seems.
You're lying. You're still lying.
Maybe
I'm
I'll
2
get to
hours
the end
into
without
this.
you
You're
chanting
still
that I'm
lying.
lying. Lying, am I?
Maybe you'll get another lie
I'm
in.
thinking no.
No one
I'm
said
thinking that it's so
infinite
painful, ladies and gentlemen, that
Nobody.
that's why the server moderator had to put him on mute. Because he couldn't cope. Yeah?
I'm
Can't
glad
cope
this
much.
is all recorded.
Do you want to take some Adderall? I'll get some Adderall in you.
Nathan, why do they need to use a tangent plane? They got a globe surface they can use. Why don't they just use that? What's the problem with that, using a curved baseline?
Oh, it's because they don't correct to curve, they correct to horizontal. He made that explicitly clear.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's
From
take
curve
away.
to
Let's
horizontal.
take away.
Nathan doesn't
If
understand
I may,
prepositions basically.
Sorry, he's
if
got
I
to ad hom
may,
me
let-
10th through the top of this. He needs to ad hom me about what I don't know. Sorry, you thought infinite
Not an ad
distances
hom
was
if
a
it's
welcome to
true.
globe moment, you stupid buffoon. Meanwhile, you've got
Nobody
set
said
distances
infinite
to your
distances.
stars. They've been scaled by Kepler and
Lying
Huygens.
again.
You thought an appeal to infinite
Got a
distances
lie to flirt.
was a win for the globe? All right. Perhaps you'd like to start swearing at me, you stupid man.
No, maybe you want to keep calling me a little bitch.
They must use a tangent plane because they can't use a globe because the globe doesn't exist. And the zenith distance is the zenith position of the star, GP, over the Earth at 90 degrees. That could work on the tangent plane or a flat Earth, but not on the sphere because it shares the same baseline as the observer zenith's 90, and you can't have diverging zeniths.
Anyway, I've wasted enough time here. I'm going to get dinner started. You guys have fun with your undeserved victory lap.
Sorry, you're not going to get to ad homus as a summary at the
You're
end.
not- yeah,
Piss
you're not
off.
gonna get that.
Piss off and run to your stupid crap dinner that you'll tell your wife she lies about when she serves you turkey. Turkey lies! Get lost.
He was outright proven to be completely wrong. Even his own calculation proved that it's not a globe. Every single thing did not match his globe, and yet he thinks that he can call us liars.
What does that tell you?
Well, 10th man, what do you think psychologically happened to him? Because he proved the Earth is measured and practically used flat. He did it in front of everybody, and then he said, "But nuh-uh." Like, what happened to him with the whole Plato's
I'll
thing and
tell you
everything?
what happened. I came in on the show earlier with Plato's cave analogy. That's what happened to them. Go listen to the show. They realize they have been living in some la-la land all this time. They can't handle it when they turn around and see that the shadows on the cave wall were caused by a campfire behind them that they never saw. And they thought reality was shadows. And then when they turned around and walked outside, they saw reality. And it was like, oh my gosh. Now, this guy couldn't handle it. So he never turned around. And his friends came back in and says, buddy, these shadows aren't reality. It's out there is the reality. Let me show you. He said, nope, I'm not going to turn around. Nope, I'm not going to turn around.
That's not what he said. No, he turned around and said, liars. You liars. I'm going to take your children off you.
And I must be naive because I really thought when Brian was breaking it down, something was going to click. So I must be naive.
Oh, something did click with him. Why am I using metabunk? Why am I referring to the maths that he's trying to support? That's what clicked with him. Why are you referring to these maths that debunk me?
Yeah, that was the coup de grace. They don't match. He appealed to the site reduction tables. Like, well, because this is using a squared function. Well, is it the squared function that would comport with your globe maths? Oh, why are you using my globe maths to compare how this doesn't work? Can you send me those? What?
He referred to the site reduction tables because I brought them up and stated that in the almanac it stated that they're using mean sea level as your horizontal for all the baselines of all your elevation angles. So he went trying to cite them as if it meant something. It meant nothing. Because they even tend to even post it. It didn't get put out there. Even Tent posted a thing about site reduction, I think, showing where they're, and I have the citations myself and I showed them on videos. That they're using
sea level because a level line of
horizontal.
sight and the difference between mean sea level is going to give you the dip angle. That's why they use it. You need a level line of sight to determine
that. His own maths went against him. Nothing matches his globe.
Let me read to you a very short summary to answer that question from the gentleman who said psychologically, what do you think's happening? Imagine living in a dark place where everything you see is just a shadow. In your whole life, you believe these shadows are the only real things. Now, you could superimpose that with the globe if you like, as I keep reading. Well, this picture is a part of a famous story called Plato's Allegory of the Cave. It's a story that Plato, a great thinker from ancient Greece, wrote to help us understand the difference between what seems real to us and what is actually real. It's not just a puzzle about truth, it's a kind of riddle that makes us think hard about what we know and what we don't know. Plato's allegory of the cave comes from his writing called The Republic, which shows us how easily we can be fooled by fake things and how surprising the truth can be when we first learn about it. So let's explore this allegory, which isn't just a story, but a deep lesson about life and the search for truth. And that's what happened to that guy today. He got hit with truth, and all he's looking at is shadows on a cave wall.
Fair enough. Yes, Carly, go ahead.
what causes the stars to move 1 degree every 69 miles when you move from away or towards this GP? What's causing that?
You've given the answer in the question if it's with Polaris.
69 miles is horizontal distance.
You've given the answer in your question. You moved away from it.
Thank you.
No, that's not specifying what's causing it to move.
It's not moving.
Either,
Polaris stays.
okay.
Hold on.
Right?
Can I ask him a question?
Hold on.
It's either perspective or it's actually
Hold on. I mean, stop. Polaris doesn't move. That's why it's useful. You're moving away from it and then asking me why does it move?
When you move closer to the GP of Polaris, it's gonna get closer to your zenith 1 degree every 69 nautical miles. And I'm asking you, what is causing that to happen?
You've just done the same thing again. You've just explained that you are moving towards it or away from it. So let me just rephrase that. Because you are moving towards it or away from it, it is raising or lowering with respect to the horizon. That's you moving and seeing something that doesn't actually move because you are.
All right, let me rephrase the question. Is perspective causing the 1 degree every 69 miles?